Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Mike Missanelli Show. It's the day after the Eagles win. Now, I know a lot of people are out there go, well, they didn't win, like I expected them to win, and now I'm worried about X and Y and Z. And here's the way I look at it. It's the first game of what I hope to be a long playoff run. They were clearly better than the Green Bay Packers. They were clearly in kind of a lull because I think they were a little rusty, not playing that last game, and a quarterback not playing it in a really long time. So I'm not going to go overreact, and it's a convincing win in the playoffs, and I'm okay with that. It's a first step of what I hope is a long run, and whether you want to pick it apart, it's up to you. I understand their passing game didn't look great. But from the very outset, I think that if you have watched football, you realize that the Eagles were much better than the Green Bay Packers. That the Packers really had nothing for the Eagles to worry about, whether the Eagles were sharp offensively or not. When you have a defense like that throttled the other team, they couldn't get anything going. It was like a body bag game for the Green Bay Packers, losing this guy, losing that guy. They had no receivers. And so, the Eagles get out with a win over a team they should have beaten, and they won comfortably. And so it's funny to me, like how many people just are willing to bail out on Jalen Hurts. He's not the type of quarterback that can take you through the play, but it's all a reaction. It's like such a premature reaction before you just let the game flow. Let the game decide itself. And, I tweeted out early yesterday, the Packers have nothing for this team. Even though it was, 10-0, it was a close score, and the Eagles should have been up by a lot more. I get it. I'm going, never at any point were the Eagles threatened in that game. Now, will they be threatened in the next game? I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't think that we can take the flaws of a game one where they were kind of rusty and the quarterback was kind of rusty and the timing was kind of off and their main receiver was limping around on a bad foot and really didn't get targeted, and take that into the next game that they're going to play at home as well, either against the Rams or the Vikings. I still think the season is on a collision course to play in Detroit, and the way that defense played yesterday, I have no reason to think that any team can really, have their way with that defense. Like, what team is really going to have their way with the way that defense plays? Which means the NFC title game, to me, is going to be a really close game. And the fact that it's in Detroit, listen, it's a toss-up to me at this point. But I'm certainly not going to go back and look at this Packers game as a flaw in some way. I can look at guys who played out of their minds, I say. Who played out of his mind? Milton Williams played out of his mind. Blankenship played out of his mind. Everybody, it seems, on that defense, Bourne is consistent as ever, but everybody that plays on that defense seems to contribute in one way or another. Nolan Smith contributes. Everybody is buttoned down defensively to stop what any team is going to do to them. And to me, that's the comfort blanket for this Philadelphia Eagles team. So if you want to worry about their offense and why it wasn't cooking on all cylinders and all that kind of stuff, and you want to rip the quarterback and say he's not a playoff quarterback, it's up to you. I look at this game as that's a W. It was a convincing W. And when they needed a throw, again, when we look at Jalen Hurts, where he's not overly impressive like some other quarterbacks you might see in the league, the key passes of this game was the 28-yarder to Devontae Smith, which to me was the key play of their whole offense. You can look at Dallas Goedert touchdown. You can look at the time he had to throw to Jahan Dotson, all that stuff. When he stepped in and threw that pass, that 28-yarder, Devontae Smith, to me that was the key play of the game. And he seems to do that when you need it. Bill?
Hey, good morning, Mike. It's Victory Monday, although it doesn't feel like it in some places, but it is Victory Monday. You and I are seeing eye to eye on this, man. When you are able to go into a playoff game and win, that's all that matters. And I saw some people saying, we were saying that all of last season, that a win's a win. No. The playoffs is different. When you win, you enjoy it, and you move on. And really what we saw yesterday, even though the offense didn't look like it was in a great rhythm early, The play calling was questionable at times. Jalen Hurts did look maybe a little bit rusty. That's been their formula for success all season. They don't rely on their passing game to win football games. They have a very good defense. Like you said, you saw it yesterday. They held the Packers to 10 points. That was a top 5 offense, Mike. I know it didn't look like it, but you were watching a top 5 offense for the Green Bay Packers that this Philadelphia Eagles defense just completely shut down. And to Jalen Hurts, when it mattered, he did show up. I said this yesterday on my instant reaction post. When Green Bay in the third quarter made it a 10-3 game, Jalen had one of his best drives in response. They go 5 plays, 68 yards. Jalen was 3 for 3 on that drive for 61 yards, including the 28-yarder to Devontae Smith. They needed to answer there, and they did. Then Green Bay comes down. They score a touchdown, make it a one-score game again. What does Jalen do on the next drive? Has another great drive, 13 plays, 58 yards. They kick a field goal to extend it to 2 scores. When it mattered, Jalen showed up. You can't think that this is going to carry over to next week, that because they didn't look in sync offensively, that now we're in trouble the rest of the playoffs. Enjoy the win. They move on. We got a divisional matchup coming up, and I'm fired up for it.
Enjoy the win, man. If there was ever a game we could rub off the rust, it would be that game. The Packers had nothing for them. All right, and so they got the W over a team that was inferior, that wasn't going to beat them, and that's a good thing. So here's how you get in. I want to hear your reaction. And I want to hear the people bail on Hurts so quickly. I just want to understand you. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Mike Missanelli Show, back after this. And 12, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, so I'm looking at it. It continually frustrates me when they don't get A.J. Brown off. It's going to always frustrate me. I think it's the easiest thing you could do to kickstart an offense with short slants. And for some reason, they don't go to it, and they stayed away from him, and they didn't target him. And, if you watch some patterns here, there was something off with him, okay? So, like the foot injury, okay, I get it. So maybe that was a factor in why they didn't kickstart the passing game that well, and it had to slog along a little bit, and that's why they left Green Bay in the game. And Green Bay's defense was allowed to capitalize a couple times on that. So I get the frustration with people. They want a finely tuned offense and a finely tuned defense. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, though. Sometimes you're not the perfect team, and you can still get by. Now, against the better team next week, we shall see if that offense has the same slog. My sense is that it won't, because this was a game that, popped up after a lull in the schedule and a lull with the quarterback being banged up. So you got to factor that in. I don't know that you can judge the Eagles' offense nor Jalen Hurts based on that game that they weren't spitfire sharp. Am I wrong?
No, and going into the game, one of the things that we were saying a lot was if Jalen was going to be a little bit rusty, all that mattered was that he didn't turn the football over, and that's exactly what he gave you. You saw two quarterbacks yesterday. Jordan Love, 3 interceptions. Jalen Hurts, no turnovers. I'd much rather have the type of game that Jalen Hurts had where he protects the football and you lean on that defense that number 1 in the NFL this year, and they proved it again. I mean, they're the best defense in the league. Protect the ball. You didn't have to take any real chances with Jalen Hurts. Yeah, you want to see it a little bit better, but you're right. Jalen hadn't played in really 4 weeks, man. And then he had no practice with AJ, no practice with Devontae on Friday. I mean, there were things there where you could see maybe there should have been a little bit of rust. I was okay. It's a formula that has worked since the bye week. How many times have we left the game saying, wow, they won that game because of their passing attack? Maybe 2 in that 10-game winning streak? So you don't need to have this high-powered passing attack.
I got to be honest with you. I'm watching that game yesterday in total comfort because I knew that other team couldn't beat them. And it's why I go, okay, this is just the first game. Like the first game, I did not expect them to be 100% sharp, but to survive that game and move on. It's like survive and advance. And I expect the next game to be much better because they got that game under their belt. And I think the people that look at it unrealistically. Like they were going to come out on all sudden they were going to bash the Packers. From the jump, you could tell the Packers weren't going to win that game. Am I right? You could tell they had nothing for the Eagles.
Yeah, it was obvious early that they just didn't have the firepower to keep up. As long as every time the Eagles made it a 2-score game, it felt like it was a 30-point game. It just didn't look like the Packers had that ability to try to score points.
They didn't have any receivers, and like the only guy that they could really trust and count on was Josh Jacobs, whether he carried the football or when he came out of the backfield catching the ball. Like there was no dynamics that they were going to hurt that Eagles defense with.
No, there wasn't.
So that game to me was just like a notch game. All right, boom. Now you got to evaluate whether they're going to be this better team as they move on. And I don't think there's any reason to doubt that they're going to be a better team.
And we'll see what happens tonight. We'll talk more about that later on, but we'll see what happens tonight, whether you get the Vikings or the Rams. But once again, the Eagles there's no reason they shouldn't win. So you said earlier in the show, it still looks like it's a collision course for Detroit in the NFC Championship game. So nothing should change. People shouldn't be freaking out. I don't know about you, Mike. I was getting people tweeting at me. I was getting text messages of people calling for Tanner McKee, man. Like literally texting me. I got one long text from a friend of mine outlining why Tanner McKee is the future for the Philadelphia Eagles. Come on, man, really?
Yeah, well, I don't even.
I would say no.
Come on.
Don't even register with me. But I really think it is interesting how people are just so willing to bail out on Hurts when it's like there's no time to bail out. Like it's not time to bail out on Jalen Hurts. It's because your team is not like this machine that's demolishing the opponent. Like a game is a systematic way of winning, right?
Yes. No, and like I keep saying, if Jalen doesn't turn the football over, this team wins a lot of games. And what you saw before the bye week in the regular season was Jalen was turning the ball over a lot. That was part of the reason they were only 2-2. After the bye, when they started relying on their rushing attack, Jalen was getting smarter with the football. You saw them set a franchise record with 10 straight wins. A lot of what you saw yesterday, I wish the offense looked a little bit better. Of course, I wish the play calling was made a little bit more sense. But as long as Jalen protects the football and you have a defense like you have and a rushing attack like you have, you can beat anybody. So, yes, the overreactions of bailing on Jalen Hurts, a guy who's now, 3-3 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's 52-23 in his career as a starter. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, he's not going to dazzle you like Josh Allen. Like, here's a quote, right? I'm putting out there. Packers, they have nothing for the Eagles. You got to be kidding me. Jalen Hurts has been in the league how long, and he can't decide how to run and when to run and when to throw the ball, when they throw the ball away. The passing game was horrendous, and the running game was so very lucky to win this game. What? Come on, dude. Seriously? Lucky to win that game? They weren't even in trouble at any point in that game.
Yeah, and I mentioned Jordan Love throws 3 interceptions. Did you watch Saturday's game and see what Justin Herbert did for the Chargers with all those interceptions?
He's the most overrated quarterback in the league.
Exactly. I would much rather have a game like Jalen gave you, where he protected the ball, and when it mattered, he showed up. He made big passes when it mattered. He made big play calls when it mattered. And the Eagles won the damn game, and it never felt like there was a chance they were going to lose.
All right, 610-622-0975. We're going to get to the text board. We're going to get to the phone calls. 610-632-0975. Let's hear from you, Mike Missanelli Show. Also, some other big news. I don't know how this came about this weekend, but you're going to get your wish. You're not going to have to take public transportation now to go to the games. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles move on. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. We need a new water heater. Choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. The Eagles beat the Packers 22-10 on Sunday. Moving on to the divisional round. Defensively, the Birds were fantastic, generating 4 takeaways, including interceptions from Zach Vaughn, Darius Slay, and Quinyon Mitchell. Offensively, it was a struggle for much of the middle portion of the game, and especially through the air. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game about needing to clean things up.
We got to correct this tape. We have things that we have to get better from this tape. We're coming back to work. We made errors as coaches and we made errors as players, and we're going to go back and get those fixed.
We'll get them fixed for the winner of the Vikings-Rams game tonight, as the Eagles will host the winner of that game next Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field. Speaking of South Philadelphia, news broke yesterday the 76ers will remain in South Philly alongside the Flyers in a new arena down at the sports complex. We'll continue to update you as we get information with regards to that plan. Again, the plans for Center City have changed. Last night, Sixers fell 104-99 to the Orlando Magic down there in Orlando. And the Flyers return to action tonight against the Panthers at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by AAA Car Care. Save $8 in select sets of 4 Nokian tires at AAA Car Care Centers. Offer ends January 18th. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
10:26. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. The Fanatic Gang's all here. Bill's here. Ray is here. And Ray has control of the text board where a lot of texts are coming in, negative, positive, and one text telling Bill that he needs to select new friends. Ray, what's up? What's up with that?
Yeah, Bill, you need new friends if you have morons texting you for Tanner McKee.
These are friends that are texting you?
Well, I said it was a friend
acquaintances
because I said it was a friend because I didn't want to throw a family member under the bus.
A family member.
It was actually a cousin of mine.
Cousin.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Not the Sirianni side, of course.
I gotta be honest. If a cousin of mine sent me a text like that, he's dead to me. He's out.
Do you want me to read it to you?
Yeah, he's out. I couldn't relate to a guy who would have that opinion. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'm telling him we're killing him on air right now. But here's the text. Hurts stinks, dude. He's terrible at reading defenses. He's terrible at reading defenses and finding receivers. Tanner McKee would have 30 points by now. Jalen has 40 yards passing with our defense having 3 takeaways. Jalen holds us back. Tanner McKee is the future, 6'6", and has all the right mechanics. That was at 6:40 last night. I didn't respond until just now saying, I'm going to kill you on the air. That was it. I didn't respond to the text.
Oh man, I'm like beside myself when I read this stuff. As the game is going on, people are doing. I get your frustration. You want to win 50-0. I get it. You want to win every game 50-0. It's the playoffs. Sometimes that's not going to happen. But put it in perspective. Like they hadn't played together in a really long while. And I'm looking at the game like I go, this is the perfect opponent for them. They have no chance to lose to this team because they're not potent enough to outscore them. So this is a game where you chip off some rust, you get some guys going, you get the defense to still play at a high level and have that confidence. And I don't know. Maybe I look at it wrong. You know, I can sound an alarm with the best of them. I certainly wasn't going to sound an alarm watching that game yesterday. I was kind of bored watching the game, be honest with you.
It's funny. I said the same thing to my wife. I said, this is a boring
game. It was like the Packers had no chance to move the football against them.
Yes, it was a very boring game. But, man, that Eagles defense is so good, though, man.
Yeah.
I know.
What happened to your boy Jordan Love? You too, Ray. Well, what happened to your Love?
Oh, I'm owned. One of my favorite quarterbacks helps my favorite team win in the playoffs. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, he had a bad game.
Love.
He stunk. He was
It
bad.
was terrible.
And, of course, the conversation is going to be about Jalen Hurts this weekend, or this week after this weekend. But Love stunk. And Love had 3 real stinkers at the end of the season. They lose to the Vikings, and for 3 quarters they were not good. They lose to the Bears, and I understand he gets hurt in that game, but he was not playing well leading into that. I mean, their season ends because he went cold again. They got to find a way to keep him consistent, and they have not found that yet.
The worst thing that could happen to a team that has no chance to win is they cough up the kickoff. But I look at it and I go, how is that the Eagles' ball? Like, how was that the Eagles' ball?
Yeah, it was interesting because it looked like he got it back on the ground.
He got it back and he rolled over and he had it like in front of him while he was laying on his back. And they said, it's a fumble. I go, you know the people that always complain about the officials? Did you not think you got a break with that?
Well, it's crazy what happens underneath those piles. I guess it was just hard to declare that he had possession, full possession at that point.
I don't know. It wasn't hard for me.
Mike, you say it all the time. It comes back around. This is us getting back the no clear recovery in Dallas all those years ago.
Yeah, I guess. It is. What goes around comes around. I'm going, boy, Eagle fans going to complain about officials after that? They gave them 7. They just gave him 7 to start the game.
That was a big hit by Oren Burks, though, man. I mean, he set the tone
it was a
early.
nice hit, but, come on, man.
But you're talking about Jordan Love real quick. Coming into that game, he had thrown, I think, close to 175 passes without an interception.
Yeah.
And the Eagles get 3 of them in that
but
game.
you could, his arm wasn't there. It just wasn't. Like his elbow was bothering him. You could tell it was bothering him.
Yeah, that first pass he threw over the middle that sailed a little bit, and Brady's like, you can't throw a pass over the middle high. Like, that's a cardinal sin.
Exactly.
It didn't look like he had his best game, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah, his best arm.
All right, what else? Give me a negative text, and we'll balance it with a positive text, Ray.
Danny from Bucks County. The Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions, and possibly the Ravens will absolutely shred this Eagles defense. The Packers had nothing. The Eagles got so many breaks in that game. They weren't going to lose that game. They keep getting teams that have no momentum or they suck. The test is coming.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to shred that defense. Now, there might be a quarterback that can make bigger plays than what we saw that quarterback capable of making. I don't think it's happening next week. It could happen in Detroit. And if it gets to a Super Bowl, then we'll see. But it's not going to happen next week. Like, what quarterback is going to come in here? All right, Stafford's a good quarterback, but he's not going to be able to make enough plays against that defense.
No,
and neither is Darnold.
And the Eagles, remember, they played the Rams in Week 12 in L.A., indoors, on a fast track. You're not going to get the L.A. Rams coming into Lincoln Financial Field in the cold weather, and they're going to just be able to light up the scoreboard. I don't expect that to happen. Now, the Vikings, look, Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. I'm sure he'll have some design things, but no one has been able to do anything against this defense outside of the fourth quarter against the Washington Commanders, which was a very uncharacteristic quarter.
Do both of those teams have better receivers than what you saw Sunday? You're damn right. I mean, Bill Colarulo could have been tight end for the Packers yesterday, but a bigger threat than what they had.
That's not really putting
And then
down.
the one guy they have gets scrambled eggs again upstairs. With the, so, like, where they never run dead batteries, that team.
They did call me Billy Hands. You know,
I'm sure they did. And you could have helped them yesterday.
I could have, man.
All right, give me a positive text, Ray.
Smitty from South Jersey. Mike, fans are negative way too much because fans care too much about impressing national JOs. Somehow they care what the outsiders think. They are stat obsessed.
But they're Hurts obsessed.
Well, when you talk about national JOs, one of them posted a video on Twitter about an hour ago, Dan Orlovsky, and I don't think he's a JO, but he's a national guy.
Uh-huh.
He goes through the tape, and what he's showing is that Jalen Hurts wasn't necessarily rusty. The Green Bay Packers did a great job. He keeps going over play after play after play where there's not an open receiver down the field. And that's why it was a questionable game plan by Kellen Moore. Some of the route design, some of the concepts were slow developing routes. It just was an interesting approach to this game, and Orlovsky kind of plays it out. So people overreacting to Jalen Hurts. Did you watch the whole film? I mean, when you're watching the game, it's easy to just say it's the quarterback. But if you're actually watching it, I'm not sure there were a ton of plays to be made in the passing game otherwise. Yeah, he could have been a little better. I'm not absolving Hurts. But to me, the more alarming thing was Kellen Moore's game plan. I didn't love it. Didn't love it at all.
Yeah, idiots. I have to deal with idiots on Twitter all the time. So the clock in Hurts' brain is way off. It should be 1, 2, 3 throw. Instead, with him, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sack. Not saying McKee is better, but he planted and threw against the Giants in a meaningless game.
Well, here's the thing. You can't love Jalen Hurts' playmaking ability and his ability to extend plays and then complain that he's not a 1-2 throw guy. That's not who he is. And when you say that he was sacked, he got sacked twice. Jordan Love got sacked twice. It wasn't like Jalen Hurts got sacked 7 times yesterday. But what makes Jalen so good is his ability to extend the plays. Did anybody complain on the first touchdown of the game that he sat back there for about 10 seconds before he threw the touchdown pass to Jahan Dotson? Like, I get it. You want him to get rid of the ball quicker. I get it. But this is also what makes Jalen Hurts so good. As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, I'm okay with him not going 1-2 throw if the plays aren't there. But this brings me back to Kellen Moore's game plan, Mike. They weren't calling a lot of quick passing plays. That slant to A.J. Brown that we've talked about before is unguardable. They weren't calling those kind of plays. It was a lot of slow developing routes. I didn't understand it.
All right, let me give you this one here. Tioga57 tweeted at me yesterday when I was saying the Packers have nothing for this team. Skippy, it's 10-3. Go back to pushing piss wine. First of all, the wine in Italian Vineyards is primo. You malt liquor drinking, man. Tioga 57. I went to, this is what it sounds like getting blocked. Beep. See ya. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 76.
Show. I don't want to bury the lead here, but we got to talk about the Eagles game primarily. But what in the hell happened with this arena thing? Out of the blue, a press release comes out, or a story comes out, the Inquirer has it, whatever. Then all of a sudden now they're in joinder with Comcast, the Sixers owners, and they're going to build a new arena, Flyers and Sixers, which I guess means that the newly renovated Wells Fargo Center has to come down, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, it's coming in 2031, so you'd get the Wells Fargo Center for the next 6 years. But, yeah, they just put a few $100 million into the Wells Fargo, didn't they? How much was that renovation?
Well, here's my question. Why in hell would Adam Silver get involved in this? Why would he care what the Sixers were going to attempt to do?
I saw Roger Goodell was involved, too, which makes even less sense. Why would the NFL commissioner be involved in it? But is it
Why would the NFL commissioner be involved? Is it time that the Eagles get themselves a new stadium?
Interesting. Well, look, because we know that in addition to them just putting a new arena down there, they're going to expand the entire sports complex, right? There's going to be, allegedly, there's going to be hotels, there's going to be more things down there. So, yeah, that's a good point, Ray. Is Roger Goodell involved because they're also going to now bring a new arena? We heard some rumors when Jeffrey Lurie sold the 8% or whatever he did that it was to raise money so they could have an arena with a retractable roof on it. So who knows, Mike? Maybe they're going to have a state-of-the-art sports complex down in South Philadelphia. But I think when you said what could have happened, I think what happened was the 76ers were in a better position of power when it came to negotiating. Comcast must have gone back to them and said, listen, we don't want you to leave. We will meet your terms. And they wanted to keep them down there. Because how could Comcast didn't want to lose them as a tenant, as a partner. And now they're going to work on getting a WNBA team.
They didn't want to because they owned the damn building. So I assume this is a 50-50 situation. But that wasn't the Sixers wanted 100%. You know, like why all of a sudden the backflip when they spent millions to get that thing passed, and then it gets passed, and then 2 weeks later, boom. Like I don't understand it. I don't understand why Adam Silver would give a crap about where the Sixers wanted to play and have their own arena.
Also, while we're talking about Goodell's involvement and the involvement of all these ventures, very interesting that bill for the RFK Stadium down there in D.C. is starting to make its way through it. It looks like Washington might get a new football stadium, while the 76ers now go from 100% on this to 50%. There's money that has to be spent out of Harris's pocket somewhere else. I don't know if that plays a role in the fact that he's not putting 100% up here.
He couldn't figure that out from the start? Like before they spent millions of dollars. So what do? You spend $20 million to play chicken?
To him, yeah, that's playing chicken. To me, I can't fathom that.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you, I'm disappointed. And I know that people, it's better down there. Your sister. All right, you could have had something really unique here in the city of Philadelphia, and you go back to the same old boring stuff.
Well, look, I would be with you if it was just the Sixers are extending their lease with the Wells Fargo Center and nothing's going to change. It sounds like we're going to not have the same old boring stuff. It sounds like it's going to be a pretty impressive complex down there. In addition to the new arena, I think they're going to expand everything down there. I'm excited to see what the future holds with this now.
So what are you going to do? You could just go down there to have recreation? Is that what the idea is? You're going to expand? Yeah, it sounds nice. They're going to have retail and restaurants. It's still in a barren wasteland. What would you go down there for your excitement?
Well, if they bring in, like you just said, retail and restaurants and hotels.
You think people are going to gravitate to that place because they have a hotel and restaurants and stuff?
People gravitate just to Xfinity Live. And
are they gravitating to the Navy Yard? They have the same thing. Nobody's gravitating to the Navy Yard. It's in an area where it's like remote.
And I'm seeing reports too. Maybe this is why Comcast was willing to do it. Looks like Comcast is planning to take on a minority stake in the 76ers. So now they're going to be a part owner in the Sixers too?
Oh, so there's more money going into Harris Blitzer because someone's paying them for
a lot of moving parts here.
Interesting.
Okay, good. All right. Well, anyway, I was really looking forward to it and do a new horizon. So I get the same old. Let's move traffic as slow as we can, and we'll get there by the first quarter or the first period. All right, let's go to Greg in Bethlehem. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Greg.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Greg.
Looking at yesterday's game, a dub is a dub. The thing that I expected Hurts to be a little rusty, and I think he was, but what I still can't understand is why would Kellen Moore go away from the game plan that has been successful since the bye week? He seems to have decided to change his approach and feature more passing, and that's not been what's carried them for the last 8 games.
Well, they had like 30 rushes in the game, didn't they?
Well, I was listening to the guys this morning, and what they were saying, and I have to take their word for it, I guess, that they threw the ball more than they ran it, and that's not been their recipe for success.
Yeah, in the first half they did, Greg. I mean, in the first half, Saquon had 9 carries for 58 yards. He was averaging 6.4 yards per carry, but Jalen dropped back at least 13 times. He had 2 runs as well. I can't remember if they were designed or not. But in the first half, you're right. Saquon ran the ball 9 times. They dropped back at least 13 times. So, look, I left that game not questioning Jalen Hurts as much as I was just questioning the game plan. I'm with you, Greg. I did not understand what Kellen Moore was doing offensively. Now, thankfully, It doesn't hurt them. They win the game. They move on. I still have confidence that they can fix this for the divisional round, but it was a weird game plan.
Well, I agree. I mean, if they weren't successful running the ball early, then I could see that maybe they have to switch the game plan. But they were successful running the ball early, and for some reason they went away from it.
Listen, I'm looking at let me look at the play-by-play here early. All right, so they got the give me a touchdown series, 3 plays. Their next series resulted they punted, right? So the first play was a run. Second play was a short pass. It's the only pass A.J. Brown caught that went on his knees for 10 yards. Barkley to right guard for a yard. Calcaterra, short pass, and a short pass to Barkley on a 3rd and 5.
Which was a terrible play.
It was a terrible play, and they punted. All right, next series only got him a field goal. Barkley left end, 17 yards. Hurts right end for 15 yards. Barkley left end for 3 yards. Short pass Goddard. Gainwell up the middle. Gainwell off left guard. Short pass to Devontae Smith for 10. Short pass incomplete to Dotson. 2nd and 10 incomplete. And then on 3rd and 10, they had to pass it. I mean, I don't know. It seems pretty balanced to me.
Yeah, it was. Look, I think they could have given the ball to Saquon more in that first half, especially in the second quarter at times. I was less concerned about maybe the run-pass ratio. It was more the type of passing plays that were being called. It didn't seem like when you had a quarterback like Jalen Hurts who hadn't played in 4 games, why not get him into a little bit of a rhythm with some
I
quick,
agree with you.
Timing plays?
They went punt with 3 plays in 3 straight series.
Yeah.
So, that's not encouraging. That's ridiculous, in fact. But again, it's like, okay, we're feeling our way through this game because that other team's not going to beat us.
Yeah, but after Green Bay misses the field goal, I'm looking at the drive after that. Green Bay misses the field goal. Eagles get the ball back on their own 28. Jalen Hurts sacked for 3-yard loss. Jalen Hurts incomplete. There was a penalty. Jalen Hurts scramble, and then they got a punt. Like, you didn't give the ball to Saquon once in that drive. And then they do the same thing.
They were confused. They really weren't buttoned down on the game plan. You're right about that. But again, this is a game. Let's just wear off. Let's chisel away some of what we got here, and then we're good. We got a home game next week. 610-632-0975 is how you climb into the show. That's the Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this.
Fanatics Sports Update.
The Eagles move on. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles beat the Packers 22-10 on Sunday. Moving on to the divisional round. Defensively, the Birds were fantastic, generating 4 takeaways, including 3 interceptions. 1 from Zach Bond, 1 from Darius Slay, 1 from Quinyon Mitchell. Offensively, though, was a struggle for much of the middle portion of the game, and especially through the air. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game about needing to clean things up.
We got to correct this tape. We have things that we have to get better from this tape. We're coming back to work. We made errors as coaches, and we made errors as players, and we're going to go back and get those fixed.
They'll have to clean it up for the winner of the Vikings-Rams game tonight, as the Eagles will host that winner next Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field. Speaking of South Philadelphia, the 76ers and Flyers have officially announced that they will build a new arena in South Philly, a 50-50 joint venture for the two sides. The Flyers also Comcast also taking a minority stake inside the 76ers and expected to help bring a bid for a WNBA team as they try to get this arena open by 2031 down in the sports complex in South Philadelphia. All that coming out in a press release this hour. Last night for the 76ers, they fell 104-99 to the Magic in Orlando. And the Flyers return to action tonight against Panthers at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by ExpressPros.com. Make hiring easier with the workforce experts. Let the people at Express Employment Professionals find you the right fit. Hiring is about people, not algorithms. Visit ExpressPros.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Missanelli Show. Yes, the Kobe Dean. You knew it wasn't good when he needed to put his arms around personnel to get him off the field. You know it was a bad injury. I thought it was an ACL at first because sometimes ACLs you can walk on them, but it's bad. But this was a ruptured patella.
Correct.
And he's done for the playoffs and could miss the start of next year. That's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. And look, I felt this way before you even got this Nakobe Dean injury that the Eagles had to re-sign Zach Bond after the season he had. This makes it now, you can't even question it. If you're not going to have Nakobe Dean to start the year, you better be bringing back Zach Bond next year. I don't care how much it's going to cost the Eagles. I know they don't like to pay linebackers. You've seen what Zach Bond does with his defense, and if you're not going to have Nakobe Dean too, you can't go into next year with a whole new linebacking core.
Okay, but now how does this impact them moving forward? How much of a obstacle is this going to be for them?
Well, Nakobe Dean is
fill in,
and he's a leader on that defense too. He's a leader in that locker room. It's a big loss, no matter how you slice it. Now, Oren Burks, who filled in yesterday for him, has experience. Oren Burks played in the Super Bowl when Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles, so the guy's got playoff experience. But Oren Burks, he's not Nakobe Dean. There's a reason why Nakobe Dean was the starter and not Oren Burks. It's something they're going to have to deal with, unfortunately, for a team that was so healthy pretty much all season to now lose a guy for the whole playoffs. Yeah, it's not great.
All right, let's just take a quick look at what happened on the weekend of football. Did anything surprise you except the Tampa Bay win? How'd you do, by the way, in your selections? I think I may have had a better week than you.
I don't think you did.
No?
I think we tied.
Really? I had the Commanders.
Yeah, me and you had all the same games on Sunday. So we went 3-0 on Sunday because we both had the Bills, we both had the Eagles, and we both had the Commanders. On Saturday, I went Texans, and I think you went Chargers.
Yeah, I did.
So I won that one.
Because I'm an idiot. Because the Chargers are totally untrustable. I don't know what I was thinking.
But then I said the Pittsburgh Steelers would keep it closer than 9.5, and you didn't. So I think we finished
1-1 on Saturday, 3-0 on Sunday.
Yeah, so we both finished 4-1.
So who do we have tonight?
I think we both have the Vikings.
Both had the Vikings.
But it was a pretty good weekend. But nothing really surprised me. I mean, like I said, I picked the Texans to win that football game. I was a little surprised that Justin Herbert looked as bad as he did, especially since you talk about nationally, people love to put down Jalen Hurts. They love to put Justin Herbert on the pedestal. I mean, he's always in the top
It's ridiculous.
5.
It's really ridiculous when you think about it.
And he played terribly.
Well, because he's a good-looking, white, blonde-haired quarterback. Is that the way it works?
With a strong arm. Yeah, I guess that's probably it.
All right.
But he threw, and I always gave him the benefit of the doubt because Brandon Staley was such a bad coach. But there was no excuse. No excuse for how poorly he played.
Yeah, he's terrible.
But, when I say nothing surprised me, I did think Pittsburgh would keep that game closer.
Yeah.
They're not going to make a change in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin.
Who is this woman who has been relentlessly hammering Tomlin on social media?
I haven't seen it.
Have you seen this, Ray? See, she's like some kind of prognosticator or a picks person.
I haven't seen who's.
It's some blonde woman who's putting out all these videos about how they need to fire. I mean, she's been relentless.
Well, in her defense here, the last time Mike Tomlin won a playoff game, you got to go all the way back to 2016.
And my friend who's a Steelers fan likes to remind me that Doug Peterson's been hired twice, won a Super Bowl, won a playoff game for Jacksonville, and then fired twice since the last time Tomlin's won a playoff game.
Yeah, so, I mean, at a certain point, I know he's never had a losing record, which is extremely impressive. But the guy hasn't won a playoff game in 8 years. They're not going to move on from the guy, but something needs to be done. And they weren't even competitive against the Ravens. Lamar's good, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not bad.
He's pretty good.
Listen, I love watching him and Josh Allen. I mean, they're entertaining.
That's going to be a great game.
Really. All right, you are listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities, 610-622-0975. All right, let's get to the strange case. This seems to be a story that everybody's interested in. I'm not really sure why. Again, this is the difference between me, because I'm a cynical, miserable bastard, and everybody seems to be charmed by this tale of A.J. Brown reading a inspirational book called Inner Excellence on the sidelines during the game. Now, and everybody looks at it and says, "Wow, that's." I go, "What is this? What is that? An attention grab? Is he like a closet troll? What is he, Jonathan Moxon on the sideline? Are you kidding me with this?"
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was intentionally trolling or not. He claimed after the game that he's done this before and the cameras have just never picked it up.
Where would the cameras have not picked that up?
That is a surprise that if he's done this and they've never seen it. But
What, are you going to Blue Tent and read up a little bit? Nobody's not going to catch him reading a book on the sidelines.
But it wasn't as if the book was new. It looked like it had been used a lot.
Yeah, it's written by a former minor league baseball player, and it's written to, quote, train your mind for extraordinary performance in the best possible life. And he says he brings the book to this every game. I get it. In the locker room, maybe you want to get a couple inspirational things. To bring it out on the field and let people see that you're reading it, to me, just smacks of an attention grab. And I'm not trying to rip the guy, but come on, let's call it what it is here.
Yeah, he said after the game when they were asking him, were you frustrated? He's like, why do you guys always think I'm frustrated? Why do you always think I'm frustrated?
Dang, I like to read.
Yeah.
You like to read? I do too. It's usually under like a reading light in a lounge chair. Like on the field?
Yeah.
Right. I know you were charmed by this whole thing. You love this. You love this whole thing.
It's hilarious.
Come on, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your cynical look at this, and you say I'm not trying to rip the guy and then proceed to rip the guy, but like,
I'm not ripping it. Like, okay, if you rely on that for inspiration, that's all good. But to bring it on the field at that point in the game, it's like, what? Come on, dude. What are you?
if this
what's
is
it
what it
supposed
takes
to
to keep A.J. Brown happy, go ahead, read away. Start a book club on the sideline for all I care.
It was weird. I mean, even Tom Brady's like, I've never seen that before.
Oh, yeah, it's strange.
Jonathan, but you saw it in Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
Jonathan Moxon was studying.
It was a
And he
little
had
bit
him a
weird.
book inside his playbook.
But hey,
Well, he made it sure that everybody knew what that book was.
my bigger concern wasn't AJ reading. I personally didn't think AJ looked right physically on the field.
No, he didn't look right. You saw there was one replay where it's like he didn't even run the route. It's like, he just seemed disinterested, which tells me he didn't think he was 100%, and he didn't feel that great about the game.
Well, and then they run that fake tush push, which Kellen Moore, I didn't love his game plan, but I loved that call there, and it was an interesting play. It looked like it was going to work. Now, I know people are getting on Jalen that he didn't hit A.J. It almost looked like A.J. wasn't as fast as he used to be.
Yeah.
Like, he just looked off to me. That's a bigger concern coming out of this game is how healthy is A.J. Brown going to be for this stretch run? Because you're going to need him. Eventually, you're going to need him. You're going to need A.J. to make a big play for you.
All right. 610-632-0975. Ben in Orlando. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Ben.
Yeah, well, first of all, I love that you guys are back, man. Mike, I agree with you on so much, so often. If you don't mind, I'm going to be respectful of your time and need to get to a lot of people, so I'll get this out as fast as possible. This Hurts thing is not brand new, guys, and it's not for the drunk idiot fan who doesn't know what they're doing. You got experts coast to coast, former players, experts, our coaches. There's a reason why everyone's simply in a mature way assessing Hurts for what he is. It's our defense is number one. Our running back is number one. Any QB in the league would love to have this receiving core. I believed A.J. Brown a few weeks ago. I did not buy into the window dressing a couple of weeks later, a couple of days later. And the guy's reading a book. He's being human, man. He's telling you, if you ain't going to use me, man, he's going to be a receiver to the Eagles as Barkley was a running back.
Oh, so this is a message to his coaching staff? The message to his coaching staff, which is always team friendly when you make. Come on, Ben.
No. Just try to hear me out.
All right, go ahead.
Hang up and call me an idiot. All right.
Oh, you're not an idiot. I'm just saying, like, we're just going. Just a conversation. That's all.
No, I got you. Cool. I mean, you've been a player before too, and as a player, if I'm reading a book on the sidelines, like you said, Varsity Blues, dude, we're getting the book thrown at us or a ball thrown at us. But he's last in the league in pass attempts, 448 pass plays called. Moore, Nick, everybody. They can't call a passing play for this guy because just like yesterday, he'll complete 13 out of 21 passes. Did he miss the 8 on purpose? Is it Moore's fault? Is it the receiver's fault? Was he rusty? Rusty's the new word for this guy. Was he rusty against the Browns? Was he rusty against the Giants? He's second to last in the entire league in number of completions, man. Like the number, forget percentages. The bottom line number of passes he completes is literally second to last in the league. He's
Yeah, but that's also
the entire NFL in pass yards completed.
Ben, it's
Why
also
are we giving him a free pass?
we're not giving him a free pass. But that a lot of it's influenced by the fact that they run the ball so much. Also, the reason why he is so scrutinized is that he doesn't look like Allen, Jackson, or Mahomes. I mean, let's face it. He doesn't look like those guys. And sometimes that's okay. If you've got other components that make up for the lack of a dynamic passing attack and you win that way, then what do I care?
Yeah, I mean, all the stats that Ben gave us, the one thing he didn't mention is that the Eagles were 14-3. They just won a playoff game, and that Jalen Hurts is 49-23 in his career. I say it a lot about Nick Sirianni. All the guy does is win. All Jalen Hurts does is win. So until that starts to prevent them from winning games, I'm not complaining about it. We questioned the passing game after the Carolina game. They came out against Pittsburgh, and Jalen had one of the best passing performances we've seen from him all season. Yesterday, if I'm putting blame, and I don't even want to use the word blame because they won the damn game, but if I'm putting blame for why the offense looked the way it did, I thought it was the game plan. I thought it was more Kellen Moore's play calling and design.
Maybe. But here's the thing. Who is going to outpoint the Eagles? Like, when are you going to need a game where Jalen Hurts just blows you up the way this defense plays? You're not. You're just not. You're not going to need him to throw 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah, you look at the Detroit Lions. They have an ability to score points, especially at home. But I still don't think that this Eagles defense would ever get their doors blown off.
610-632-0975. 2 lines have opened. They're yours if you want them. Mike Missanelli shows on 97.5 The Fanatic. 11. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. I just ventured down to get some coffee. I made the quick run, got the coffee. There happened to be paper plate out there with some brownies. I guess someone made it home and brought in, and they're in the open air on a plate. Would you, would Bill Colarulo have taken a little square?
No, for several reasons. I mean, one, I need to know what kitchen it came out of. I don't like eating people's food. But then, two, with everything that's going around and how sick I was last week, man, an open plate of food right now, I'm staying away from it unless you could spray it with Lysol.
Okay.
You stayed away from it last week.
Yeah.
I ate it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're fine.
Ray salivated over it. I actually took a little chunk.
What if it was? What if there's something else in that brownie? It's going to be an interesting couple-hour show.
I hope there was. All right. So our last caller, Ben, suggested that it was okay for A.J. Brown to read that book because he's frustrated. And that was kind of a message to the people that he's frustrated that you don't use me enough.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to look too much into it. I got to take the guy for his word. He says after the game he wasn't frustrated. Why do you always think I'm frustrated? I like to read. It gives him motivation. Now, AJ has said in the past that he struggled with some mental health stuff. So if this is something that helps him and helps him focus, what do we care, man? But it's not like he's playing video games on the sideline. He's reading inspirational quotes. I'm okay with it.
You imagine how funny that'd be? They just panned to him. He's got NCAA 25 up on a screen in front of him.
He pulls out a Nintendo Switch.
Hertz says, I've never seen him read on the sidelines. I've seen the book in his hands. Everybody has a different thing and finds their flow in different ways. That's how he chooses to do it. Now, so you're saying there was no message, like a caller said. That's a message. He pulls out a book of inspirational quotes to keep himself sane because he's insane that he's not getting the ball. That was what the guy suggested.
It's possible. Look, I'd rather him do that then. You want
then stomp around?
Yeah, you want your wide receiver. I want A.J. Brown to want more than one catch for 10 yards. Mm-hmm. You want that. You should not want a wide receiver who's like, yeah, you know what? Offense hasn't really been in sync today, but I'm happy. No, of course he's not thrilled with the way the offense worked yesterday, only having one catch for 10 yards, but they win the game. He's not making noise. He's not stomping around. He's reading inspirational quotes on the sidelines. No problem with it, A.J.
All right.
Well, I just had somebody on Instagram message me. A.J. Brown's turning into Antonio Brown. How? What did the guy do?
Okay, let's get real about this. Okay, I know you want to let him off the hook here, and I don't want to put him on a hook because there's nothing to put him on a hook about. That is one of the most passive-aggressive moves I've ever seen. To pull out a book on the sidelines, make sure the camera sees you reading that book, is a message to somebody.
Yeah, but you're assuming
it's not just an innocent little thing. Oh, I need some inspiration now. I happen to have my gym bag here. Let me take out the book. Come on, Bill.
You think he's sending a message?
Wait, if that book is in your locker, it's in your locker. Before the game, halftime, whatever. It's absurd. I can't believe you're buying into this. All right, let's go to Glenn and Wallingford. Glenn, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Glenn.
Hey, good morning, boys. Hey, I didn't want to touch on that, but there's definitely some passive aggressive there. But the only thing that's a little concerning is that this is the playoffs. You shouldn't have to worry about that. If this is week 8 and you haven't got the ball, I'm okay with that. But not the playoffs, man. There's a time and place to complain about how many targets you get. But
I don't know if he was doing that. Our caller suggested he was doing it. I don't know why he was doing it. I think the guy is kind of a closet troll. I think he was trying to get a little attention grab because he only had one catch, and that's fine. Wide receivers are built differently. But don't tell me it was something else that he felt the need at that point to study. Come on.
Well, yeah. No, I agree with that. And real quick before I get to my football points, I saw Kincade posted that video of the fans berating some of the Packer people.
Yeah.
I tell you what, don't they still have the numbers in the stadium where if you see something like that going on that you could call in or something like that. Because I tell you what, people like that it really bothers me because as a Philadelphian, and I think I kind of speak for everybody on the station, you guys included. It really kind of really puts a bad light on us, and generally, I think most of us are decent human
Well, of course
beings.
it does. I mean, I don't know if you heard us last week when that Flyer fan threw punches at the Maple Leaf fans. That kind of stuff is ridiculous. It's childish, and it should be called out. And I hope somebody did call that Eagles helpline.
Yeah, and I think that anybody around is almost, I don't want to say as guilty, but, almost, they got to stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves because they're in because there's that many more people, or there's like 3 or 4 guys standing around. What's the guy going to do? Punch the old guy, and then he's got his 3 buddies there? I mean,
exactly. The people, see, I don't know, people lose control of their senses. They get too serious about this whole stuff. It's too much a part of their lives. And it's just an insecurity. Like, who would do that? What do you have to gain by doing something like that? You're a J.O.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as it comes to Hurts, Mike, and I think that Bill kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, too. The way that the game kind of progressed, there was no need to take chances with the ball as well. You kind of get the gift fumble to start off the game. You're up, 7-0, and then shortly thereafter, 10-0. And there's no reason to push the ball down the field. There are a couple times I feel that he's scrambling. He does have that clock where you are extending, and I get, we love him when he extends the plays and makes positive plays. But there are times where he's just he's rolling out to the sideline.
And he needs to throw the ball away because when he does that, he's still trying to make a play. Now, he's got the fail-safe of throwing the ball out of bounds when he's running towards the sideline. So he feels protected that he's not going to take a lot. But there are plenty of times he's looking around, like, just throw the ball away. He took a couple sacks because he was holding on to it. All right, that play's not there. Waste it. Get out. That's all.
Nah, yeah, he was. They knew when you even texted me early in this game that the Packers had no juice. So you played a safe game. You didn't turn the football over. I'm with you 100%. And to that caller's point about that fan, too, giving us a black eye, we hit TMZ now. Like, Philadelphia fans are on TMZ doing this crap, and somebody should have told the guy to shut his mouth. The other fans around him.
I want to have conversations with these people because I think I don't know if I can make any sense to them, but I don't understand what's lacking in your life that you would have to do something like that. And I'm seeing a video, by the way. I'll talk about it on the other side. What's the guy's name that has all the tattoos? The heavy man with the rolls of fat. What's his name? Guy's become a celebrity with the tattoo.
Is it like Dunphy or something like that? Right?
The fanatic. On the stomach?
Yeah. So apparently he was in a fight in a parking lot yesterday. It looks like him anyway. I'll talk about that. I saw the video of that. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles move on. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles beat the Packers 22-10 on Sunday. Moving on to the divisional round. Defensively, the Birds were fantastic, generating 4 takeaways, including interceptions from Zach Vaughn, Darius Slay, and Quinyon Mitchell. Offensively, it was a struggle for much of the middle portion of the game, and especially through the air. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game about needing to clean things up.
We got to correct this tape. We have things that we have to get better from this tape. We're coming back to work. We made errors as coaches, and we made errors as players, and we're going to go back and get those fixed.
They'll fix it for the winner of Vikings-Rams tonight as the Birds host the winner of that game Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field. Speaking of that sports complex down there in South Philadelphia, the Flyers and 76ers officially announced that they'll be building a new arena in South Philly, expected to open by 2031 down in the sports complex. So no more Center City Arena for the 76ers. It'll be the Flyers and 76ers building a new arena down in South Philadelphia. Last night, the Sixers fell 104-99 in Orlando to the Magic, and the Flyers return to action tonight against the Panthers at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Penny.com. It's open enrollment. Get the lowest cost on high-quality health coverage now through Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. Deadline to enroll is January 15th at Penny.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Missanelli Show. All right. I need at this point to have the people discuss all of your worries and all of your fears, the sum of all fears, some might say, that would prevent the Eagles from winning any game that they play from this point on. Like, what exactly would you be afraid of? That you cannot make the case. You can't make a case that they could possibly win every game that they play from this point on. If you're going to make the case, you're probably going to make it, well, their passing game is not good enough. But we don't know that. We don't know that next week, when they play either the Vikings or the Rams, that their passing game would be sharp.
Now, and this is something we talked about for weeks in the regular season. During that 10-game winning streak, when we were looking for things that could potentially be weaknesses on a football team, I said, well, look, the passing game. And they finished the season 29th. But we also saw against the Steelers, when they had to rely on the pass, that they could. They didn't have to rely on the pass yesterday. Yeah, you wanted it to look better. I understand fans that wanted the offense to look better yesterday. I wish it looked better too. But it didn't hurt them. And just because the offensive game plan left a lot to be desired yesterday, it doesn't mean it's going to carry over, and now they're going to get beat by the Vikings or the Rams, or that they can't beat the Detroit Lions. You saw the same formula yesterday that you watched a team go out to a 14-3 finish. A very good defense. Honestly, I'm ready to say a great defense. I mean, that defense is a great defense. Nakobe Dean's a big loss, but you got a great defense. You have a strong rushing attack. Speaking of the rushing attack, we haven't talked a little bit about this. What do you think about Saquon sliding at the end? You think he should have taken it to the house?
I don't understand it. I don't understand why he would slide.
The game's over.
I get it, but it's over if you go to the house too. Like I don't understand that decision at all. That's overly unselfish.
Yeah, look, it was a 22-10 game.
Yeah.
So if it was like a 6-point game, maybe the slide is the way to go because you don't give the other team the ball back, or if it was a 1-point game or whatever. But, yeah, 22-10, man. Maybe just take it to the house, Saquon.
That's overly Penn State-ish.
Yeah, there we go.
Is what it is.
Well, the only difference was they won, so that's not very Penn State-ish.
Oh, man. Listen to you.
Receiver caught a pass also. In that
Yeah, how
game.
about Jahan Dotson would have touchdown, Penn State guy?
Most overused joke on Twitter, by the way, after he caught that. Wow, first Penn State reception from a wide receiver this week. Am I right?
But no, I'm with you. I think Saquon should have been selfish there, especially because a lot of what was discussed when they didn't go for the record the last game of the season was that Saquon could set the record for the most rushing yards regular season and playoffs combined. That would have helped him. That would have certainly helped. What would he have picked up? Another 35 yards on that play? Where did he go down? Let me look.
Close to 45.
Yeah, it's a touchdown. He was beyond. Like, dude, come on, dude, get the touchdown. Get your touchdown. They're not going to think you're running it up.
41. He could have picked up another 41 yards.
I mean, he was clear. He was in the clear.
The anytime touchdown bettors also on Twitter last night.
They lost. I thought I was set up for a bad beat with the Eagles at 5.5 when it was 22-10. I'm thinking, they're going to play soft. Like Green Bay going to get a quick touchdown here, make it 22-17, and it's 5.5. What's the number?
Now, another thing we didn't talk about when you just asked people, like, what are your concerns? What are your concerns?
Yeah, what are your worries?
Well, let's talk about one that we had on Friday. You and I debated a little bit about Jake Elliott. He didn't do anything to make me feel better yesterday.
I missed an extra point.
Yeah, he missed an extra point.
But he hit 3 field goals.
He made 3 field goals, and the longest one
33.
30, 31, 32.
32 yards.
32. All right. Well,
and he misses the extra
even that's
point.
not a worry because if he had missed a 50-yarder, that's a worry. There's no okay. He missed an extra point. I get it. That wasn't going to hurt him in that game. He did kick 3 field goals. Had he pulled the 31-yarder, well, then I got some problems.
Yeah, what did McManus for the Packers? He missed a 37-yarder.
He pushed the 37-yarder wide right.
Helping out his hometown team.
That's right. The Temple Owl.
North Penn grad.
Couldn't come up big.
Yeah, that could have been big. Speaking of field goals, I know we're talking Eagles-Packers, but was Dan Quinn trying to do his best Dan Campbell impression last night or what? Did you see how many times they left points on the board? Going for it early in the game, on the road, down in Tampa Bay territory. You take the points on the road, man.
I thought you meant he was doing a Dan Campbell impression because he won.
Oh,
wow, we got hit the rim shot for you, right?
Yeah, that was
that's
a good one.
That's a you rim shot. Since we're doing the rim shots, I got another rim shot for you. Now that the Sixers are in cahoots with the Flyers, and that project at Market Street didn't happen, people are saying that even they can't even get past the second round building a new building.
Oh, there it is, Ray.
How about that? All right. Let's go to Mike in Douglasville. Mike, you're on 97.5 at Fanatic. Mike.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, Mike.
So anyhow, as far as the Sixers are concerned, who cares? They could have moved the freaking Camden for all I care.
You don't want to move the Camden. Stop it. This is a prideful organization, damn it.
They might be prideful, but their team isn't all that prideful. I mean, seriously. I mean, with the whole process and everything, I can't even watch the Sixers. I'm disgusted with that.
I feel your pain, but the playoffs are still ahead, so, whatever.
They're not even going to make the playoffs.
They're going to make it.
If they were smart enough, they should just choke the rest of the season, keep that number one pick, and then move on. As far as the stadium is concerned, I think they were trying to leverage the city, Comcast, and everybody. And I think they also started looking at it and saying, okay, how many events are we going to have in this brand new stadium every year? 60? That means it's going to be dark 300 times a year.
Well, you mean to tell me? Well, hold it. You mean to tell me they didn't think of that before going through all this effort to get it built? Like this just came up?
Well,
they're not going to be able to fill the building?
But I think they were trying to use that as leverage to try to get the city to say yes, to give them more leverage against Comcast. So I'm done with the Sixers because I've been done with them all year anyway. The Eagles, was it a great game? Absolutely not. But as everybody has been saying, a W is a W is a W. We got the win. It would have been disastrous if they had lost yesterday. Absolutely disastrous. And a lot. What we also fail to remember is a lot of those drives, like it was like 2nd and 12, 3rd and 14. They would get 2 or 3 yards and then get a penalty. So there's a lot of little mistakes they need to clean up. But, I mean, all in all, they won the game. The worst thing about it, obviously, is the Kobe team being lost for the season. That's going to really sting. But this is a good team. And good teams find ways to win.
Well, exactly. And the beauty part of it is they had an inferior opponent to beat yesterday while they were knocking off some rust. It was like the perfect scenario for them.
Yeah, it's funny, though, that we're sitting here saying an inferior opponent because that's how it looked. But for the couple of weeks leading into the playoffs, including me and Ray, a lot of people that said we don't want it the Packers
you were misguided
in the first round.
The both of you were.
Well, look, if you look at under the new format, since they changed it in 2020 where the 2 seed doesn't get a bye, by far the Packers were the best 7 seed to ever come out of either the NFC or the AFC.
But they didn't have any receivers. Look at what they were trying to trot out to catch passes.
But that was not that much different. I agree with you. But Christian Watson, who was their big play receiver, him being out, they still had Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs. I know they got knocked out of the game, but that was a good team coming into there. The Eagles' defense just made them look pedestrian. The Eagles' defense made them look pedestrian, and they're going to be the same defense.
Offensive line problems that they had. Look at that. They were a mess.
Eagles did that to them, though.
Oh, but still, they were still short chain. Once the guy got a pinched nerve, they were done.
And you're talking about the Packers. You know how many sacks they gave up this season?
Well,
22. They were the number 2 team in the NFL. Only 22 sacks allowed.
All I can do is look at a team that's in front of me. And I looked at that. Early on, I go, this team can't possibly beat the Eagles today. The Eagles are slogging along, and it's a close game. There's no way the Packers can rally enough points to win that game last night.
No, and I'm not sure we're giving enough credit to how good Nolan Smith played, man.
Played great.
Nolan Smith's a stud.
He's really come along. You really flopped on him.
I was completely wrong in thinking Nolan was a bust.
Discuss all your worries and all your fears that can prevent the Eagles from winning any game they play from this point on. Tell me. If it's Hurts I want you to explain it to me. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
The Philadelphia 70s.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. The people tweet in. You can hit us up with a text to that line, but also our own private Twitter. Mine is MikeMiss25. So let me read. Harry Callis Voice is the tweeter. Mike Miss, I forget at times that you're not an actual Philadelphian.
Uh-oh.
No real Philadelphian wants a bleepin' arena on 8th and bleepin' Market, Mike. It's mainly transplants who think an arena is a good idea for the gallery. I couldn't give a flippin' frog's ass hair about the gallery. I care about something that is substantial, that makes Philadelphia stand out as different. And this would have been something. instead of the same old boring lot of going down to one spot where all the stadiums are, and you park in this big parking lot and blah, 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 and snore, snore, snore. That's why I wanted it. I guess I'm not a real Philadelphian. I guess I'm not a real Philadelphian because I'm not afraid to take public frickin' transportation into an arena like you probably are, Mr. Suburbs.
Although the last time you took public transportation, kids were trying to throw Gatorade.
Doesn't matter. I like taking public transportation. It's an adventure. It's more of an adventure for me to take public transportation no matter where I'm from than to drive my damn car, wait 45 minutes to get into a parking lot that's not policed properly because nobody cares to police it properly, and you have the same old gridlock getting in and out and in and out, and you get home at 1:30 in the morning. You want that? Okay, knock yourself out.
The only thing I disagree with you on is to say it's going to be the same old boring complex. It sounds like they're going to put a ton of money down there.
Oh, please. They've talked about that for a year. It's going to be different. We're going to put a hotel down there, and we're going to put restaurants down there, and everybody, when there's no event, is just going to flock down there and patronize it. Come on, Bill.
Oh, well, when there's no event, what would be the point? But what would be the point if there's no event in Center City?
If there is an event, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? You're going to have time to get down there for dinner before a game? You're going to dine afterwards and get home at 3 a.m.? It's overrated.
It's the same thing.
They're going to put retail shops in there. Are people going to go down there to shop? What? They're going to shop. Oh, guys, let's go. We're at 3 o'clock. We'll go shopping, and then we'll have dinner, and then we'll go to the game. You really think that's realistic of what people are going to do?
But what would be the difference if it was in Center City? So you're saying people aren't going to get there early to go to dinner and shop, but then they're not going to get to Center City early either.
Center City, it's different. It's like the Boston Garden. What's different about the Boston Garden? You have to take the train in, and it's cool, and it's different, and it's revitalized. But people don't think big anymore. It's like you got to have the same old thing. You're conned into thinking that the stadiums down there in South Philly are more convenient, and they're not. It's a disaster getting in and out down there during an event, and you know it.
It is, especially when there's a couple events at the same time. What I'm saying is, and someone said, did Bill just really say what's the point to go in the Center City if there's no event? I'm talking about for the arena itself. If the Sixers were to have built the arena at 8th and Market and there was no event, how does that arena being there make you want to go to the
people
to that
go
area?
into the city all the time to have dinner. I mean, Philadelphia is an attraction for going in and dining.
I get that.
South Philly's not going to be an attraction.
I get that, but simply having 76 Place at 8th and Market when there's nothing going on inside 76 Place isn't going to make people say, let's go to Center City.
It's a revitalized area, just like 13th Street was a revitalized area, just like Rittenhouse Square was a revitalized area when they had all those restaurants that you could look across the street, Rittenhouse Square.
Well, they still have to do something with the property, don't they? Because the Sixers still own it, don't they, that area down there on 8th and Market? I think they still have to put something there.
They're not going to put anything that's sports. My point was this was a chance to do something really different for the city. And people were afraid of it. Oh, my God, the traffic. Oh, my God, I have to take public transportation against some guy with a brown bag. Oh, come on, man.
Well, I got
just a Miller Lite, man. I'm just trying to enjoy my ride.
Yeah,
I got a text from somebody said that the 76ers new building is going to take 20 years to build because the 76ers don't employ anyone that can work back-to-back days. And workers are going to be load
there
managers.
you go. That's another quip. Keep them coming, folks. I like it. I don't know if it's better than mine. They can't get past the second round even when they build a building, but it's not bad.
Not bad. That's from Nick.
Go to the text board. What do we got here?
All right. People still not thrilled with Jalen Hurts, if you could believe it or not. We got Mike in Phoenixville. 100% agree with the text about Hurts earlier that he doesn't believe Tanner McKee is the future, but he has serious concerns over Hurts' regression over the last 2 years. And then you don't think either the Rams or the Vikings could come in here and put up 24 points on the board? 24 points beats this Eagles team in almost any game. They can't play from behind because of Hurts.
Yeah, well, again, this is like a conclusion that you're reaching for stupid reasons. You don't know that. He has come through in the past with you people make it look like he's playing with a broken arm for crying out loud. He can make throws when he needs to make throws. He just didn't make them against the Packers for whatever reason it was, because he didn't play in a couple weeks because the play design was any good, but he didn't have to make them against Green Bay. He's going to have to make them again, and he's shown that he's capable of stepping up and making those throws.
He has. And I keep going back to the fact that there were no turnovers by Jalen Hurts. But now that I'm thinking back, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even think there were any plays where it was, wow, that ball could have been intercepted. He never put the ball in harm's way yesterday, which is all I needed to see when it became clear that they were an inferior opponent. And we go back to the Rams. I think it's going to be the Vikings. But going back to the Rams, in that Week 12 matchup, Saquon rushed for 255 yards in that game. But Jalen was fine. He was 15 of 22, 179 yards, and a touchdown. And guess what? 0 turnovers again. That's the recipe to success. But I'm with you, Mike. Jalen's proven now, over 4 years, if he needs to make a big throw, he can. We're only 2 years removed from when he outperformed Mahomes in the Super Bowl in the air. I'm with you. I don't understand the overreactions to this guy. If this is the reason they lose, then you can lose your mind. But to worry about it now after this one game that they won, come on, man. Let's enjoy a win. It's a playoff win.
Enjoy the win, man.
Enjoy it.
You know what? To enjoy the win, let's go to the head football coach, who we haven't even talked about yet, who guided them through a win where they weren't their sharpest, but they still dominated the game, and nobody ever thought they were going to lose that game to the Packers. The people are clamoring for you. For Sirianni love, well, hold on to that thought. Your voice, I don't know if it's able to get there, but let's get a little Nick Sirianni here, Ray. I'll tell you what, your choice, Ray. Give me the most inspirational thing you can find from Nick Sirianni after yesterday's game.
Ooh, inspirational?
It's something inspirational, something that's going to make me believe in my man.
Let's get to him talking about Devontae Smith and just how tough he is.
Let's do that.
Jalen made a phenomenal throw. Smitty made a phenomenal play. I mean, how about Devontae Smith and the toughness? He may not have that stiff arm that Dallas had, but, I mean, he's 175 pounds, and every time he's on the sideline, he finishes the play for extra yards. Devontae Smith is so tough, and I find myself week in, week out just praising how tough he is as a football player. Again, when you have guys that are tough and love football, that makes a team special.
There you go. Connectivity.
Listen, you make fun.
I'm not making fun.
I
told
really
you.
think
I was inspired by his message last week. It was the best Sirianni I ever heard. You didn't happen to be here, but it was the best Sirianni I ever heard last week.
No, I remember we did it a little bit on Friday, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that people who continue to ask the question, what does Nick Sirianni do, has that not been answered yet when you've seen what this team did this season, the adversity that they have overcome, and how they're always ready to play? I just don't I still had somebody, Mike, I had somebody tweet at me. Hold on. Let me see if I could find this one. About, this is the stuff I'm talking about that people just love to hate. Don't discount the Rams' coaching advantage. Sean McVay will coach circles around high school Harry and his core values.
Yeah, see, that's old.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
That's an old impression. You come on, man. You gotta get modernized. You gotta keep up. That's an old impression. You can't say that now. All right, 610-632-0975. On the other side, just another example of this togetherness. Saquon Barkley commenting on how Jalen stuck up for him after somebody unnecessarily roughed him on the sidelines, throwing him out of bounds. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles move on. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill. Discover your future at the CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill. Skill-based training in broadcast media, filmmaking, and more in just a few months. Visit GoCSB.com for a tour. That's GoCSB.com. The Eagles beat the Packers 20-10 on Sunday. Moving on to the divisional round. Defensively, the Birds were fantastic, generating 4 takeaways, including interceptions from Zach Ball and Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell. Offensively, it was a struggle for much of the middle portion of the game, and especially through the air. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game about cleaning some things up.
We got to correct this tape. We have things that we have to get better from this tape. We're coming back to work. We made errors as coaches, and we made errors as players, and we're going to go back and get those fixed.
They'll fix them up for the winner of the Vikings-Rams game tonight. The Birds host the winner of that game next Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field down at the Sports Complex, where we got news yesterday and then the official release today that the 76ers and Flyers are building a new arena together, a 50-50 joint venture in South Philadelphia. That arena is expected to open by 2031. Last night, Sixers fell 104-99 to the Magic in Orlando, and the Flyers returned to action tonight against the Panthers at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Mattress Firm. Score deep discounts at Deeper Sleep. Trade Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale and clearance. Get 60% on select mattresses and more, plus get a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
Just a little bit. But there were a couple things that were going on with the Packers. An idiotic, unnecessary roughing penalty on the sideline. He threw Barkley down. Come on, man. And then the offensive lineman who gets into a beef with LaFleur for throwing Jalen Hurts down on that play.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, you see the end where what was the defensive lineman? I'm sorry, defensive lineman came over and LaFleur got in his face a little bit, and the defensive line coach got in his face a little bit, and I could hear he mouthed, "I'm just playing football," but he threw. Who was it? Was it Barkley he threw down? Or was it Hurts?
Barkley, because then Hurts got up in his face.
That's
to
right.
Step up
Okay,
for Barkley.
so that was so he was talking about the one on the rough and the unnecessary rough was in the backfield, but he also got unnecessary roughed on the sidelines. But, so Jalen got in the guy's face after that happened right in front of him. And so here's what Saquon had to say about that.
I didn't even see that. I was over here pointing. I've done a couple commercials in my life, so I know how to sell it a little bit. I do think it was it too, but I also know how to fall pretty good. But that's Jalen, man. Jalen's a tough dude. He's a gritty guy, and he's our leader. So when you see that, I didn't see that, but, I know the guys feed off of that, and it's a comfortable feeling when not only does the team have your back, but the quarterback has your back, and your quarterback's getting the mix, and, that's an exciting thing.
There you go. That's togetherness, Bill. That's all it's togetherness.
You know who it starts with? Starts with our man Nick Sirianni.
Hell yeah. So much good.
It does start with Nick Sirianni.
Dog mentality.
Let me give him a chance to talk tough here. Hey, he talked tough after the Dallas Goedert catch and run, Ray. So let's hear the head coach on Dallas Goedert's catch and run.
Nobody in this league is as violent and as physical as Dallas Goedert with the ball in his hands. I mean, did he have 2 or 3 stiff arms on that play? I mean, it really reminded me of the play that he made in the 2022 playoffs early in the game where he had a stiff arm or ran somebody over against the Giants, and really you could see the spark it gave to the sideline. Well, it was the same thing here. And again, our toughness and our physicality were on display on that play. And Dallas is a physical player, and that was a big-time play. I thought Jalen did a great job of getting to that play. Jalen got to that play and made an unbelievable play and an unbelievable check that, you're going to know about because I'm telling you about, but that's not going to be seen to everybody that he was able to check out of a play and get to the right play and get a ball to Dallas where he could go out and make the play that he did.
And he just, get off me! Boom! Get off me! Twice to that guy. And to the point where it was so humiliating that the Packers on the sidelines had to counsel my man, like, yo, dog. You see that on the sideline?
Yeah, I think it was Xavier McKinney went over to talk to him, like, yo, dude, what happened? But, Goddard was a beast on that play.
He was.
And you know what we didn't talk about enough was that was actually a really good catch by Goddard. Because it wasn't a great throw by Jalen.
Yeah, he snared it.
But Jalen had to get rid of the ball quickly, and he did. It was a great play by Dallas Goedert.
It was a great play. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to WPEN and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Here's how you get in, and I want to hear from you today because my question is, I want to discuss the sum of all your fears on why this team won't appear in the Super Bowl. 610-632-0975. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is 12 o'clock. Enjoy your lunch around the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, done. Have a good weekend, Ray?
I did. Nice weekend.
Awesome.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't bad. I don't even remember what I do. I just try to go through every minute. I take a minute at a time in my life, Ray.
All right. Well, we'll try to only take up a few minutes of your time, right?
Ray, I didn't see any published photos of a beer of you at an airport bar.
No traveling for me this weekend, which was nice.
You notice that Ray likes to post the travel beer?
Yeah, and then he hits you with the AMA.
I'm bored at the
Ask
airport.
me anything.
I need something to keep me doing.
Ray goes 16-ounce pour, too. Yeah?
I need to sleep on the flight.
He's a 16-ounce pour man. All right, Ray, what do we have today on the news at noon?
All right, let's start out with this weekend in football, and actually something that was said last week leading into Saturday's action. On Monday of last week, a week ago today, Rex Ryan on Get Up said this about Chargers-Texans.
Yeah, Chargers basically, I never realized they get a bye. Oh, wait, they got to play the Texans. What's the difference? Texans offense is struggling so bad, they can't protect the quarterback. And look, the Chargers' #1 scoring defense in the NFL going against that offense, woo, get ready for the next round.
You see, I made a mistake of listening to that blubber.
Who, Rex Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he was wrong a lot
the same
this
thing
week
about the Texans.
not the only person that listened to Rex Ryan. D'Amico Ryans after the game in the locker room.
Hey, man. Hey, outstanding job by everybody. How was that bye week?
Gave Rex some relevance there, man. The way you should handle that is not to give him relevance. Like, it's Rex Ryan. Like, why would I have to bring him up and give him credit? Yeah.
I think what he probably did was used it as bulletin board material before to get his team riled up.
Oh, you think so?
Well, they knew exactly what he was talking about.
Rex Ryan?
Well, yeah.
To give you bulletin board material?
No, but you're looking for every little edge you can get in the NFL. I'm sure D'Amico Ryans got in front of his team and said, hey, this is what they're saying about you. This is what they think of you.
This is what Jets head coaching candidate Rex Ryan is saying about you.
This is what Jets head coaching candidate in his own deluded mind has to say about you. All right, what's next?
Elsewhere in bulletin board material, real quick. The Rams, apparently this week, utilizing Dan Campbell's words of see you in 2 weeks to the Vikings as bulletin board material for their game tonight. Going back to Saturday, we will get you to the Steelers and Ravens game where it was just ugly. And it's been ugly for George Pickens for the last half of this season. After the injury hasn't been the same, not on the same page with Russell Wilson. He was asked about the offense post-game, and here's a 2-question back and forth with him.
George, you've been with this offense now for 3 years. Have you seen signs of growth, and how much more is this team still need to grow offensively?
Yeah, I've seen signs of growth for sure. From past, the first year I've been here, just way more growth for sure.
George, does that make you optimistic going forward?
Nah.
Nah. That's great. Pickens is a problem, too.
Well, he's a head case.
Yeah, he's a problem.
Wait, where did he go to college, Pickens?
I don't even know. Where'd Pickens go to college?
Georgia.
Does
Georgia
anyone like playing with Russell Wilson?
There's something about the guy. I don't know. He's like, I don't know. He comes off as, I think, too elitist for people.
Yeah, there's something weird about him.
Yeah.
Although, Ciara likes him. Got to give him some credit there.
He probably has the gift of smooth for Ciara. But he doesn't have the guy. Yeah, Russell Wilson.
I think he's nerdy.
Mr.
He's
Unlimited.
He's smooth, man. He's smooth. Got the smooth look. Yeah. Handsome dude.
Yeah, handsome dude.
He's no Bill Colarulo, but he's a handsome dude.
You are.
Showing love to Bill now. There's no beard over there.
I'm trying. I'm in the intermediate of growing the hair backstage. It's going to be awkward.
He went from ghoul to getting okay looking.
It's very nice of you to say.
Well, somebody on YouTube said earlier, and I had to ask what they meant by this. They didn't clarify. It said, Bill looks like he's almost a good-looking dude.
Yeah.
Not sure what that means.
You're on your way back.
I'm on my way back.
From the Amish ghoul to somebody decent looking.
All right.
What else we got?
What's number 3?
Fox NFL Sunday. Jimmy Johnson decided to throw out some bar fodder for you, and I thought this was a wild thing to say on a pregame show, just because I don't think it's founded in any sort of basis in whatever happened, but I'm curious what you guys think of it.
I've got no inside information, but, things are stale in Pittsburgh. Things are stale in Dallas. And just food for thought. How about a coaching swap? Mike McCarthy's a Pittsburgh guy. Let him go to Pittsburgh. Let Mike Tomlin go to Dallas. Both franchises would be excited.
Ain't nothing wrong about that. McCarthy going by. McCarthy's got the Pittsburgh speak going.
Well,
that would work.
Little breaking news for you here. It's Tom Pelissero reporting that Mike McCarthy's out as Cowboys coach.
Oh!
Yes, 3 minutes ago.
Really? Oh, it just happened.
Just happened. The sides could not agree on the length of a contract. McCarthy will pursue other opportunities.
Well, is another opportunity to Steelers? Would you zip, if you were the management, would you zip Tomlin at this point and bring McCarthy in, or would you try to go for somebody nouveau?
I think Pittsburgh, hasn't Rooney already indicated that Mike Tomlin's not going anywhere?
There was reports that they're not leaning towards
Colarulo would do, not Art Rooney. What would Bill Colarulo do?
I wouldn't go for a retread. Retreads don't usually work out. So Mike McCarthy, no coach in NFL history has won a Super Bowl as a head coach with multiple franchises. So I'm not trying to find the retread. I'm trying to find the next Andy Reid, the next Sean McVay, the next, dare I say, Nick Sirianni.
All right. Speaking of the Jimmy
I'm the smartest
Johnson
coach in the world.
and the Fox pregame show, Ray, we're coming up against a break. I'm hoping that you can find this because I have no idea why they continue to put that lunkhead Rob Gronkowski on that pregame show, who set a new low in his analysis. And I need to play. Ray, I'm hoping you can find it. I'm going, what the hell? I've had enough of this guy. I can't take this blockhead anymore. It's insulting.
People like him, man.
Well, how?
It's terrible. It's
how
so
do
bad.
you like him?
I agree.
You got to hear this analysis. He's like a nervous Nelly. First of all, he's only been on TV for 5 years. He's still a nervous Nelly. You got to hear it.
Yeah, I saw it because I saw your tweet.
You did see it?
As I was watching it live. Well, first of all, there's like 30 people on that panel now.
Well, they put an extra guy on. First of all, I don't like any of them. Not one, except maybe Terry Bradshaw I can tolerate because he's unintrusive. But you couldn't give me 3 cents for any of them. All right, well, hopefully we can get it. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Birds.
Missanelli Show. McCarthy out as Dallas head coach. Who cares? Its Cowboys franchise is so low right now. They're going to have to generate some kind of rejuvenation with somebody new. Who will it be? Some retread, some new. Like, could Jerry Jones find this Nick Sirianni like the savvy Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie did?
No, I don't think he can. He's going to try to make a splash. Any chance, Deion?
Well,
Deion Sanders? Hey, when I was watching that ridiculous Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight way back when, Michael Irvin was on, and he was talking to Jerry Jones saying, I'm going to talk to you about Deion. So who knows? Maybe Deion Sanders would do it.
Yeah. All right, and the other big story, of course, you know, everybody's going to get what they want. A stadium, right? Oh, right where it is. There's the press release today. Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment and Comcast Spectacor. Together, we are announcing a joint venture to build a world-class arena in South Philadelphia, as well as revitalize Market East. I thought the whole point was to get away from this flyer thing with the Sixers.
Well, that's...
And now they're back sharing?
Well, that's what they were kind of indicating publicly, but this could have just been a great negotiation tactic. Who knows? Look, the Comcast wasn't going to give the Sixers what they wanted, so the Sixers said, fine, we're going to build our own. Once they got approval from City Council, it sounds as if Comcast went back to the Sixers and said, all right, look, we want to renegotiate. We'll give you a lot of the concessions that you want. And my understanding is this isn't going to be the Sixers playing in the Flyers arena. It's going to be a true joint venture. That's not what the Wells Fargo Center is. So when they build this thing, I'm sure the Sixers will have their own area. Because right now it's the Sixers play in the Flyers arena. It's not going to be like that anymore. Mike's so anti this right now.
Listen, I'm all for progress, man. I'm all for difference. I'm all for differentiating your city from other cities. You're a big city. And this could have been a really interesting project. And instead, people succumb to the same old fears. And they forget about the fact, it would have been a nightmare getting in there, as opposed to what it is now. And I go, okay, they're going to build some big people are going to flock down there for dinner. Let me ask you a question about Xfinity Live. When's the only time Xfinity Live is busy?
During games.
Yeah. So this multi-hotel, restaurants, shopping, people are going to actually go there when there's not a game?
Maybe if there's something better than Xfinity Live.
Look, so we're doing this on maybe. You know people's habits. Look, they're not going to go to that area unless there's a reason to go to that area, and the only reason is a game. So there's 80s Phillies dates. There's 8 Eagles dates. There's 40 Flyers and 40 Sixers. How many days are in a year?
365.
Okay, do some math.
Sometimes 366.
Then do some math.
But the reason why Xfinity Live is usually only crowded during games is because that is what that place is. That is a place to go to watch sporting events. If you're telling me that they're going to put some really good restaurants down in South Philadelphia, I mean, I go to South Philly to go eat. I come over the bridge now to go to some restaurants in South Philly to eat.
Nobody that is going to regularly squeeze in dinner before a game. People don't get off of work at 3 o'clock.
Okay, so once again, how would putting the arena in Center City change that? You're saying people don't have time to do anything before the game, so they wouldn't have had time in Center City either.
Well, so you pop on a train and go to the game. It doesn't have to be that you have to go down there and have a complex and have dinner and have shopping. Just go to the freaking game like the Boston Garden does. What are they doing? They going down there to dine in Boston's fine restaurants when they go to a Celtics or a Bruins game?
No, but they do have some good restaurants. Was it the North End? Is that where their Little Italy is in Boston?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
All right. Can we hear from this moron Gronkowski? Really, it's an insult to watch this guy on television. I don't get. I'm out on that. Menifee, I could take him. Bradshaw, I could take him. He's harmless because he's a goof. But Howie Long bugs me. Jimmy Johnson bugs me. Strahan bugs me. Jimmy, who else is on that panel? And now they're going to add another nitwit? So let's hear Gronkowski. Was he analyzing the Packers-Eagles?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
With Christian Watson going down last week while they were vying for the 6th seed, it's going to hurt them, especially in the red zone. But the Green Bay Packers will be fine. They're a team that's receiver by committee, meaning they spread the ball around. When one man goes down, the next man is up. I've been a part of a lot of teams like that in New England. And if the Packers want to win this game, they got to establish that run early and often with running back Josh Jacobs. And on top of it, Jordan Love is going to have to play like a phenomenal point guard, spread that ball around, especially to Jaden Reed and tight end Tucker Kraft. Not Tucker Kraft. Yes. Yes.
Especially. They got to spread it around, Bill. Especially.
I think he sounded great.
They made him insecure with that fake tight end segment they did. Now he's not sure anyone's name.
There's somebody in his ear going, hurry up. And he's going,
Oh yeah, look, he is a goof, but that is his shtick.
Well, why
is.
do I need a goof? Why? What is the appeal of that moron?
People must like him. I don't know. Look,
they got him under contract. That's why they wedge him in that panel.
Let me ask you a serious question.
What?
When was the last time you actually watched the Fox pregame show?
It's not the point.
I don't watch it.
The point is, I don't like pregame, postgame shows anyway. I think they're all full of crap, and none of them interest me. And the NBC one is an insult to me as well. But to put a moron in front of me is an insult to my intelligence.
Yeah, he is a moron, but I mean that's kind of his shtick. I don't know what
I need more shtick. I already got the country Terry. I need more shtick.
Wow. Colby on the YouTube chat said everyone likes a goof. It's why Bill's on this show.
Yikes. Well, he said he hated every pre and post, and I was going to say except for the Birds Insider pre and Birds Insider post game right here on 97.5.
Evan, please spare me. Help me out here.
Bill is the Gronkowski of this show. My God.
See, I like ripping on Bill.
That's unfair.
Like anybody's business.
That's unfair.
Wrong.
That is.
Now they're two former
totally
tight
unfair.
ends. Actually, the comparison's starting to make some sense in my brain here.
Both of them have bruised up gray matter, but
yeah. My God. No, but Gronkowski's a goof.
12 o'clock hour brought to you by Sir. I think you bond with him. I think
couple of meatheads.
Yeah, you were very reluctant to criticize him there. I think you have a meathead bond with him.
No, what I'm saying is when you hire Rob Gronkowski, when Fox makes that decision, Gronkowski is giving you exactly why you hired him. You knew he was an idiot, but that's what they want.
Yeah, I don't think whoever signed that contract thought, yeah, that's a panel member on Fox NFL Sunday. And if they did, I got questions for them.
610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles move on. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is driven by Is Gary Barbera the best? Boy, I guess. Yo, the hottest SUV at the auto show. You saw it. Now buy it at Barbera. 16666. Is Barbera on the Boulevard the best? Boy, I guess. The Eagles beat the Packers 22-10 on Sunday. Moving on to the divisional round. Defensively, the Birds were fantastic, generating 4 takeaways, including 3 interceptions. 1 from Zach Ball, 1 from Darius Slay, 1 from Quinyon Mitchell. Offensively, it was a struggle for much of the middle portion of the game, and especially through the air. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game about needing to clean things up.
We got to correct this tape. We have things that we have to get better from this tape. We're coming back to work. We made errors as coaches, and we made errors as players, and we're going to go back and get those fixed.
They'll get them fixed for the winner of Vikings-Rams tonight. The Birds will host the winner of that game Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field down at the Sports Complex. And speaking of that Sports Complex, the 76ers and Flyers officially announced today they're building a new arena in South Philly, a 50-50 joint venture that is expected to open by 2031. The Sixers last night fell 104-99 to the Magic in Orlando, and the Flyers returned to action tonight against Panthers at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Penny.com. It's open enrollment season. Get the lowest cost and high-quality health coverage now through Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. Deadline to enroll is January 15th at Penny.com. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, the Eagles with a win yesterday. I've asked people to discuss all your worries and all your fears, something that you think can prevent the Eagles from winning. Yesterday on social media, as this game was going on, the main thing that people were saying that would prevent the Eagles from winning is the quarterback and the passing game, which they think is too feeble to actually win. And I go, why do you think that? When they are so strong in other areas that buoy the fact that they're not Josh Allen-led or Patrick Mahomes-led or Lamar Jackson-led, why is it that you still think that they can't do it? Those guys have spoiled it. They've spoiled the broth. The guys like Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, to the point now where we're comparing Jalen Hurts, who's not those guys, and we rue the day that we don't have those guys. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter this year. This team is capable of winning without the splash quarterback or the splash passing game. But at the end of the day, if you need a splash play via the pass, this team is totally capable of doing it. They've got 3 outstanding weapons that catch the ball, and they've got a quarterback who can make a throw every now and then. What have we not learned about this?
Mike, you and I are seeing eye to eye today, man. I'm with you on this one. You are spot on. You don't need Jalen Hurts to be Patrick Mahomes with this team. You just need him to protect the football and make the big throw when they need it. And he's shown now, since the bye week, that that's exactly what he can do. They finished with the 29th ranked passing offense. A few weeks ago, I was saying, hey, maybe this is an issue. It's not. They keep winning. This is the formula for this team to win. They have a strong rushing attack. And I still keep going back to, I don't think Jalen played that badly. I know it wasn't what you wanted to see offensively, but it was more about the game plan. Go back and watch the film. Go look at Dan Orlovsky's tweet analyzing the all 22. This wasn't on Jalen Hurts. The route concepts in this game were really interesting. A lot of long developing routes. It's not on Jalen. He's going to be just fine. Enjoy the win. But, Michael, A.J. Brown just tweeted something out.
Uh-oh. Has he got another book to recommend?
So somebody tweeted out a picture of A.J. Brown against the Commanders a few weeks ago, reading that book on the sidelines. So he's done it before. And A.J. retweeted the picture and said, 18 targets that day. I'm a journalism major myself. I get it. Propaganda is your best friend. So to people who are worried, and you were saying maybe he's being passive-aggressive, he has read the book on the sidelines before. There's evidence of it, and he did it in a game where he had 18 damn targets.
Well,
so,
then who is the idiot that produced that game for TV that wouldn't have picked that up? Now, don't you think that should have been picked up by TV if he was actually reading a book on the sidelines? Well, what kind of director would miss that moment?
Showing you the picture. That's against the Commanders. Him sitting there reading the same book. So, look, it is interesting that the TV picked it up for the first time.
I blame the TV. I blame the director for not picking it up. But if that's the only other time, I got to think that he did this. I think he's kind of a closet troll, which is fine. He's a wide receiver. You can do anything you want as a wide receiver. And there are people out there that think that was a message to use me more since he only got one target. I think it was a passive-aggressive move. Well, I'm entitled to my opinion about it. It doesn't mean I'm ripping AJ. I appreciate what he does for this team. But I go, come on, man. At that point of the game,
I just think a guy like AJ who has said publicly that he has struggled with mental health at times in the past. If he's saying, and you got to take his word for it, that he does this every game where he reads this on the sidelines in between drives to help him stay focused, I don't think there's an issue.
Bill, do you think he actually is reading it every game?
He says he is.
He says he is, which to me is impossible, that nobody would have picked it up.
Yeah, he says, this game is 90% mental, 10% physical. I bring it to every game, and I read it between each drive. I use it to refocus and lock in despite what may transpire in the game, good or bad.
Hey, if you say so, I can't imagine that nobody would have caught that. But, okay.
Do you think he wore down the book and started highlighting things when he was told he was caught on camera?
I don't know what his motive was. I just think it was an odd thing to do. Like you can read that at halftime. You can read it before the game. You can read it all week if you want to get yourself pumped up to a game. At that point, when you pull out the book and you make it visible to the TV camera, that you're trying to just draw attention to yourself. That's all, and it's okay. Guys draw attention to themselves. I'm big boy enough to know that that's what athletes do. They like to draw attention to themselves. It feeds their ego. It feeds the way they compete. I got it.
I just think, look,
you're in. You bought
because
in. You totally bought in, man.
What we have seen from A.J. Brown over the years here, I don't think he's trying to draw attention to himself. I don't think he wants to have to answer questions about this book and what it meant and was he frustrated on the sidelines. It seems like this is something the guy does. It didn't get picked up by cameras until yesterday, and because he only had one catch for 10 yards, people assume that maybe he was trying to be passive-aggressive or trying to do something. I don't think he was. It looks to me like this was a genuine thing that he does.
I think this is your way of getting on the fans' good side.
I'm not trying to get on the fans' good side.
Fans are going to rip me for they're thinking I'm ripping AJ when I'm really not.
Well,
but I think this is a blatant move for you to get on the other side.
I don't think you're the only one doing it. There's a reason why AJ is retweeting the picture saying I had 18 targets that day. I'm a journalism major. I understand. I get it. That people are trying to make a story out of it. It's just, I don't think there's anything there. Look, Ray and I were talking when we went to walk to get our coffee. You remember a couple of years ago?
You guys were getting coffee together?
We did.
Oh.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Was that a bonding experience?
Yeah, I'm like, how annoying is Mike? Ray's like, terribly annoying.
You remember when Sirianni and Hurts had the whole thing during the bye week?
Yeah.
Management said
that
that Bill and I need to get on the same page.
Oh, okay.
That was me and Ray.
All right.
But Ray brought up a good point. You remember a couple years ago, after the Eagles beat the New York Giants to go to the NFC Championship game, AJ didn't look happy even though they won. You remember that? Is if this is what he needs to do now to stay focused, to understand there's a greater good, I'm okay with it. He's not jumping up and down. He's not saying anything post-game to cause controversy. The guy's reading a damn motivational book. I'm fine with it, man. It has nothing to do with it.
Nobody's not fine with it. It is what it is, though. Come on. Nobody's saying like, oh, it's going to be a detriment to the team. It's not. It's just the thing that's weird.
If this is the first time he ever did it, I would agree saying this is passive-aggressive.
He sends a picture out there, and you're convinced. He did it one other time.
Yes, I'm convinced.
Okay. All right.
I'm convinced because
you are. You're one of the. You're an easy sell, but that's okay.
Well, he said it, and now this is coming from Thomas Peterson, is the one who tweeted out this picture. If he said, I do this every game, and now there's visual evidence of him doing it in the game.
There's visual evidence of him doing it one other time, not every game.
Doing it in a game where he had 18 damn targets.
One other game. If he was doing it every game, do you think we would have known about it? Come on, Bill. No camera would have picked it up. He does it every game. No camera on earth would have picked that up.
They didn't pick it up in that game.
Listen, the book's coming for me on Wednesday. I'll tell you whether or not.
Did you order the book?
Of course.
Yeah,
this is research, Mike.
God bless the guy who wrote this book because he just got a big. I get the same. How come I don't get the same boost for the Adventures of Shima the Shima when I talk about it? This guy Jim Murphy's selling out.
Yeah, Jim Murphy needs to give some money to AJ.
If AJ Brown was reading that on the sideline, how would you feel?
What if he was reading The Perfect Season from 1986?
He wouldn't be reading that, and he wouldn't be reading my children's book. So that's an impossibility.
So
try to hang me with ridiculousness.
Self-help is the next one. We need Mike's excellence coming out.
610. I got something after the break. I got to go at Kincade. Kincade sometimes irritates me. And so, of course, he's going to be on the side of the arena being built down there in South Philly, and he tweeted something out. So I got to go at Kincade after this break. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky.
lost in this. To be honest with you, this is how I'm not tracking the Sixers much these days. That they lost to the Orlando Magic, and it was the first game for the Italian kid, Paolo Banchero, who came back from an oblique, and he busted their ass a little bit, Bill.
Yeah, Sixers news, like breaking news, they're not that good.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Let me look at the box score here because I want to point something out. Okay, the starting five was Paul George, Yabusele, Maxey, Kelly Oubre, and getting a surprise start, the spry Eric Gordon.
Spry.
Off the bench. Guess who got the most minutes? 24 minutes.
I don't know.
Justin Edwards.
Who?
Justin Edwards off the bench for 24 minutes. Adem Bona, 15. Reggie Jackson, 11. And Jeff Downton and Ricky Council IV got a combined 11 minutes off the bench. That's what their bench was yesterday.
Well, maybe they'll have a solid bench by the time that new arena is built in 2031. Because this season's done, man.
Speaking of that arena, it is now a 50-50 proposition with the Flyers. The Sixers are going to build a new arena, which I assume means the Wells Fargo Center is going to have the dynamite. And
I guess so,
and
right?
knock that down. They'll turn that into a parking lot. I don't know where this new thing will be going, but John Kincade is raving about it. Our pal John Kincade, our colleague here. He tweets out, when they build this new stadium complex, it'll be much larger in scale than the Battery in Atlanta. But fans will love it. It's a fantastic space. 4 pro stadiums with all the entertainment, hotels, and restaurants will be amazing.
I'm excited, John. I'm more excited than you are about this.
The Battery in Atlanta is a destination because Atlanta is a cool metropolitan city, right? So people go down there and they dine, whatever. Why will this be amazing? This is not this doesn't even feel like it's Philadelphia. You have to drive all the way down to this remote area, South Philly. It's not metropolitan at all where they're going to build this. And so on a scale of fine dining to Applebee's, what kind of restaurants do you think will be put down there?
I don't know. Hopefully good ones.
Really? You think good ones?
I'm hoping.
Good ones that will try to rush you in and out because you have to go to the game when you have 1 hour to eat. So they're really going to take the time to give you fine cuisine.
Okay. I keep coming back to the same question for you. What were people going to do at 8th and Market?
It's Center City. This is what, if they had put that down in 8th and Market, that's what would turn into the Battery that Kincade is referring to in a metropolitan area.
But if you're
to revive the metropolitan area, not to revive jet. What is that called down there? Jetro.
The Jetro lots. But if your point is people aren't going to have time to go to dinner before a game, then how would they have had time to go to dinner in Center City? I'm not understanding.
It doesn't matter that they go down to have dinner in Center City anyway on the off nights. If they go down to the arena, they're going to see a basketball game. That's okay. You don't have to hang around and have dinner. It's just another part of a Center City experience. Like when people go out to dinner, if they want to go, let's go to Center City for dinner. That's where they go. They're not going to say, let's go to the Wasteland for dinner. Why would they do that? It doesn't even feel like it's Philadelphia.
If you build it, they will come.
Stop it.
If you put good restaurants down there, people will go down there.
No, they're not.
Why,
they're not. First of all, they're not going to be good restaurants. They're going to be quick restaurants where you get people in and out. There's not going to be fine dining down there.
I'm just trying to understand how putting it in Center City would have made a difference,
because
for
it's
everything
Center
you're talking
City
about.
and it's a cool destination. It's not. This is not a cool destination. What's cool about that area of Philadelphia?
There's nothing cool yet. Maybe they make it cool.
Oh, the Navy Yard was the same idea. Is that cool that people go to the Navy Yard? It's a cool area, the Navy Yard. They got some restaurants there. You ever hear of people going to the Navy Yard?
No, I mean, you got the people who work down there.
It's right around the corner from this. This grand plan to build shops and restaurants. People are going to flock to that area of the city. Forget about experience in Center City, Philadelphia, where it's really cool. Let's go down here where the parking lots are. Come on, man. Let's go back to the phones. Rich in Easton, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Rich.
Jeez, oh man, Mike, you're going to pop an aneurysm.
Well, I mean, my God, it's so misguided to think that this is going to be so cool and people are going to go down there.
Talk radio. Let the listeners come in and talk to you. You keep talking, you're going to have an aneurysm, for God's sake.
Well, that's why you called in, so go ahead.
There you go. Relax. Sit back and listen. So I agree with you. I agree with your assessment with the Eagles. If the defense holds serve, I think the offense, if they just score 17 points, they could win. But I'll take 20-21. So I agree with that. Second of all, Barkley's slide was so unnecessary because at that point they would have been up 29 to 10, for God's sake, or whatever it was. By the way, you can't use overly Penn State-ish as
overly modest,
adverb,
overly modest and Penn State-ish.
Yeah, until they win a championship again. But anyway, I'm having fun with you. So listen, there's no crying in baseball. There's no reading on the sidelines on a football game. Can you imagine if Newt Rodney, Bill Parcells, Vermeil, Lombardi, Belichick, you name them, Noel, Joe Gibbs, Bill Walsh, Tom Landry, if any of these players would see a player?
Oh, I mean, listen. Come on, Rich. That's like old school doesn't apply here.
Stop old school.
No, it doesn't. People do stuff differently. I'm just saying it's an attention grab. That's all to me. It's an attention grab. Now, if it helps him, fine. But it is what it is.
Mike, I understand about mental health now, and we have to be careful. I don't know what can be done, but okay, how about not old school? Dan Campbell, who's coaching right now, if he caught a player reading...
Listen, I don't want to hear any more of that.
Wow, was that really just an opportunity to bash Sirianni?
It's an opportunity to go old school. We already know the cliches that Newt Rockney wouldn't have put up with it. It doesn't matter. It's not it's 2025 right now. People do things differently, right? I get it. And I'm not chastising the guy for going into an inspirational book. All I'm saying is it's weird. At that stage of the game, it's weird to have the TV show you reading an inspirational book. And it's some kind of message. It's like a caller put out a little earlier. He said he wanted people to know about that. In other words, he wanted people to know that he wasn't that happy with getting all targeted for what. So he had to calm himself by going into his book of Proverbs.
Yeah, I think to that caller, when they call up talking about reading a book, it wasn't like the guy sitting there reading a New York Times bestseller fiction. He's reading an inspirational thing. To me, it's the same thing as guys that write stuff on their wrists when they're taped up, or put initials on their wrists, or put John 420 or John 316. I know it's not 420. Ray just almost jumped.
John 420 is where you're stoned.
Yeah. But people write.
They want 422. Hey,
yeah, maybe they want 420. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not. Nobody's saying it's a big deal, Bill. Yeah, but people. You yourself said it's odd.
It is odd.
That's all we're saying.
It's
just
odd. But when he says after the game that this is something he always does.
Oh my God!
And now
you are the most gullible man on the planet.
Listen, I would have been gullible if now people are looking for evidence of him doing it before, and there's already a picture surfaced from a few weeks ago of him doing it. I got to take the guy's word for it.
You know, athletes have a pedigree in conning the media. You do know that, right?
Absolutely.
They can con the media with words, and they often do.
But now you have visual evidence. He did it a few weeks ago in a game that they won, in a game where he had 18 targets.
You love this one other visual evidence. So you're creating your whole argument about why he must do it every game. He didn't do it every game. He did it maybe once other time. All right?
He said he did it every game. Do we have evidence that he didn't? Oh, God. Is there visual evidence that he didn't? Do we have video of him?
I guess he should produce 17 times then. If he says he did it every game. Since he posted this one, post the other 16. 610-632-0975 back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles move on. I'm Ray Dunn.
Missanelli Show. 1 o'clock hour is big because I really want to pin some people down on the Seagull thing after they beat the Packers pretty legitimately yesterday without a worry. And people are still freaked about whether they can get to the big dance. But, I also I like to flip around and read various social media things and various newspapers. And so let me run this headline by you here, which has nothing to do with sports at all. Male libido gets astonishing boost from this beloved childhood beverage, according to a study.
What's the childhood beverage? We have to guess?
What do you think it is?
Chocolate milk.
No. Grape juice.
Interesting.
Researchers, at the Tianjin Medical University General Hospital in northern China found that compared to those who consumed none at all, men who drank grape juice 5 times or more per week saw a 79% decrease in ED struggles.
Wow. Well, I'm going to stay away from the grape juice because I don't need any more libido.
No, your libido has to be quelled for a little bit.
Well, I guess after the baby's born.
Yeah, you don't need the grape juice.
No, 40 weeks of pregnancy
point.
didn't do a damn thing to quell it.
And this is like, the age group. Listen, I think it's like 40 and over. So Ray, you don't have to drink grape juice.
No, I'll stick to the wine.
You're in your prime. All right, so here's another headline. Now I don't know about this show. I don't know. I haven't seen this show at all. But there's this show that's these actors do. They participate in like Navy SEAL training. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, this show that's out there
Where like
it's
different celebrities train for it. You said,
yeah, it's pretty dangerous.
I don't know what it's called, but I know
the name
what
of
you're
the
talking
show. I don't know what the name of the show is, but anyway, Denise Richards. You know Denise Richards?
Of course, Wild Things, man.
There you go. Wild
Her
Things
and Nev Campbell in Wild Things.
Correct. I'm trying to get the show that she's in. Damn it, I can't find it. But I have seen it advertised where they do these crazy things, hang from helicopters. Oh, Special Forces Challenge, it's called. Denise Richards, unfortunately, ruptured her breast implants during one of these things.
That's scary.
It is. You have any?
I don't have anything.
You don't have any reaction to that?
No, I have no reaction. Ray, you want to respond?
I feel like you nailed it, Bill, with that one. I think that was great analysis by you.
I have to have surgery now with my implants. So, I mean, that's risky. So, why would you, enter, if that's a possibility, why would you?
Because when you're
push yourself through that.
Because I don't think
Fox,
that
a Fox show.
Yeah, I don't think that Special Forces show is getting the biggest celebrities at their prime. They're getting people who are still trying to stay relevant, aren't they? Denise Richards is trying to do something to stay relevant.
Well, I guess it's going to come with a disclaimer now.
Well, I'm sure they signed all types of waivers before that.
All right, I just thought I would, throw that out.
Yeah, food for thought. Yeah, so if you, don't go on Special Forces.
Not that it has anything to do with the Eagles and their quest for the Super Bowl.
So,
but I just thought I would be.
I know we're looking
at the people.
More devastating, Denise Richards on Special Forces or Nakobe Dean?
I know we are looking at the game that just happened, but there's a game tonight that's going to dictate who the Eagles get. Do you have a preference? You have a preference?
Yes. And this is on our social media. I prefer the Eagles play the Rams.
I'm with you. Now I don't.
Vikings are a better team.
Exactly,
and they earned it. They earned the mantle of a better team, and they had a bad loss to the Detroit Lions. They got crushed, but they're a better team. So I'd rather face the Rams.
Now let me preface my response with this: I think the Eagles beat either one of these teams.
I agree,
but yes, the Vikings are by far the better team. The Vikings were 14-3. The Rams were 10-7.
Okay, let's fashion a line here as we go into our 1 o'clock hour, and I'll tell you that you're listening to WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, if the Vikings come here, I believe the Eagles are -3. If the Rams come here, I believe the Eagles are -5.5.
I agree on the Rams line. I think it would be a 5.5 spread if the Eagles had to host the Rams. I think it'd be a little higher against the Vikings, though.
Okay.
I'm going with a 4-point spread. I think the Eagles would be 4-point favorites opening against the Vikings.
All right, I think if the Vikings win, it'll be impressive. Hence, the line will reflect that.
I just look at what Vic Fangio and this defense has been able to do to opposing offenses. And as good as Kevin O'Connell is, and he designs plays for Sam Darnold to have a successful season, I just think I'm taking Vic Fangio and this defense over Sam Darnold in that offense, and I think that's why Vegas would have him at least as a 4-point spread.
4-point spread. All right. Let's go to the text board. We got some text on A.J. Brown. We got some text comparison for this game. Ray, what are they saying?
All right, we'll go to Ryan in Florida. Has A.J. been an all-pro wide receiver in every season since joining the Eagles? Okay, then I don't care what he's doing on the sidelines. He can sit there and pick his nose and eat it for all I care. Best wide receiver in team history. He can do as he wants.
He's the best wide receiver in team history?
According to Ryan in Florida.
Well, he certainly has the best single season in franchise history. I don't know. He's getting there. I mean, if he does it a couple more years like this, he'll go down as the greatest receiver. Who's the greatest receiver right now in Eagles history?
T.O.
No. He only did it for 1 year.
Doesn't matter. Talent-wise, he was the best they've ever had.
All right, you're talking about talent-wise.
Yeah.
See, I would say that if you're looking at the greatest receiver who had the greatest career in Philadelphia, would it be Harold Carmichael?
Probably. Mike Quick would be in the conversation.
Mike Quick, who A.J. beat Mike Quick's single-season record 2 years ago.
Yeah. Is A.J. Brown going to be a Hall of Famer?
If he keeps this up. How old's A.J.? I mean, A.J.'s still a young guy, isn't he? He's only 27, man.
Yeah, he's certainly on his way.
So there's potential there.
No, I got you. All right, what are the people, more text here on
Yeah. Unnamed texter from Colorado. Last night felt a lot like the wild card game against the Falcons 7 years ago. Elliott made 3 field goals, missed an extra point, defense won the game. The next week, Eagles crushed the Vikings. History repeating itself?
Wait, what was the comparison to?
The Falcons game in 2017.
Yeah, they didn't play the Vikings the next week, did they? Yeah, they did because they had the bye. Yeah, they had the bye week. The only thing that I would say is a lot different. Against the Falcons, it was Nick Foles, so you were still trying to figure out the game plan surrounding Nick Foles, whereas in Jalen Hurts, he's been your quarterback for 15 games before he got hurt. So I don't think there's the same comparison there. You shouldn't be having to figure out what works offensively with a quarterback who's been here forever. I'm just looking at it as players have bad games, coaches have bad games. I think Kellen Moore had a bad game against the Green Bay Packers yesterday. I don't think it was his best game when it came to play calling and play designs, but I think he will bounce back.
Okay. By the way, for the people that are have asked me whether there's any video evidence or photo evidence of A.J. Brown reading books on the sideline. Apparently, I missed this because on my Twitter, I just retweeted it. A.J. Brown is shown on the sidelines reading the book, The Adventures of Shima the Sheba. Do you see this?
Hold on, I'm opening up your Twitter.
Yeah, my Twitter, Mike Miss 25. There it is. Photographic evidence of him. So I'm done ripping. If he's reading that book, get a little inspiration, a little childhood inspiration, I think that works.
People have too much time on their hands.
Way too much time.
That's my boy Kaz Ferrante.
Yeah, he went and pulled this.
Who pulled that guy? Who found the video evidence of AJ reading my dog book?
Someone also indicated to me that Bill's copy of The Perfect Season actually ended up in A.J. Brown's hands. It was regifted at the Nick Sirianni Christmas party.
Ask Bill how many pages of the book that I personally gave him and signed to him, how many pages has he actually read? Not one page. Not one page. There's a guy, he didn't even open the book. He didn't even read the foreword. I couldn't even get the foreword read by my good buddy Bill.
I read the about the author section and then had too much.
What's the matter with you?
Let's get back to the phones. Will, Northeast Philly. Will, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Will.
Mike.
What's up, Will?
Mike, I need you to chill out about this book, man. I need you to chill out, man. AJ's just reading the book. He's the best receiver in the league. If he wants to read a book, just let him read a book.
Dude, who's saying that I have a problem with him reading the book?
Mike,
all I've said is it's a look at me moment. That's all.
Mike, it's not. You see the pictures of him reading the book at different games.
One other time you saw. One other picture. One other picture.
Mike, it's like you want to stir up controversy. He's just reading the book.
Will, do me a favor. Grow up, okay? With the stirring up controversy. I know he might be one of your favorite ball players, but it is what it is. It's strange.
Mike, who cares? That's my thing, Mike.
Okay, well, I pointed out, my opinion is it's strange. It doesn't mean that it's detrimental to the team. Relax.
Right, there you go. It's not detrimental to the team, so why
did I say that? I didn't say it was detrimental to the team. I'm just pointing it out.
Mike,
dude, you got to stop being a fanboy.
You got on my nerves.
Come on, man. You got to stop being
on my nerves.
You got to stop being a fanboy. All right? Grow up.
Mike, you got to stop. You got to chill out.
All right, whatever. Come on, man. I'm just pointing it out. It's not like I'm against A.J. Brown. You don't have to get your provincial hangers up, you know? It's all right. It's all right. It's just very strange that he was on the sideline at that particular time reading that book.
If it was a different book, if he was reading the Da Vinci Code on the sidelines, I'd be like, all right, yeah, this makes zero sense. To me, it's a very similar thing to a guy who has a motivational quote written somewhere.
What was your original thought about this? Tell
I
the people.
thought that it was strange.
Okay.
But the fact that now I'm reading, he explained it. He says he always does it. We're seeing at least one time he did it before.
I'm sorry. I apologize to the people out there. I'm offending their favorite player. I'm sorry. Bill, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I
know what we need to do.
You're upset.
You know what we need to do.
You're upset about this.
I'm going to apologize to people. I know that I usually sound like a bird, and my voice is phenomenal when I sing Sirianni Love. But I'm going to fight through it for the people because we're not going to have a bad omen carrying over to the divisional round. We will be singing Sirianni Love. Even with this voice the way it is, I will bring Sirianni Love before the end of the show.
All right.
It's coming up.
All right. There we go. We got something forward to look towards.
All right. You all right there?
Whatever. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Green Nation actually tweet a picture of Tanner McKee while this game was going on yesterday?
Yeah, they did.
Did you see this?
They did. It was probably, Brandon Lee Gouton or whatever.
I don't know who did it. It's a picture of a Bleeding Green Nation, and somebody answered, why would you tweet this?
Yeah, but he did, in his defense, if it was Brandon, retweeted it, like quote tweeted it almost immediately and said, I joke, but this is bad. Something like that. Like, I don't know if they were really calling for Tanner McKee, but even still, yeah, bad timing by
Yeah, come on. I mean, this is the thing with the Jalen. I know we haven't heard of many today. I think that people have digested the fact that he was fine enough to win a game yesterday, and it wasn't spectacular like you've been seeing in the playoffs from other quarterbacks. But again, this is a team that doesn't need him to be spectacular. They need him to make a couple of good throws, which he did yesterday. Even as poor as you think he played, he made a couple big throws, and his receivers picked him. Goddard picked him up a couple of times. That 28-yard throw to Devontae Smith was a dime. But there are people out there that go, I don't care what you say, but the Eagles will not beat the Lions playing like they did today, let alone win the next round. Well, like, why would they play this way against the Lions? Like, you have to measure who the opponent was and what they were coming off of. They were coming off inactivity, and the quarterback was coming off activity. That's not going to be the case as we go through these playoffs, starting with next week and then into the Lions game.
Yeah, you can't worry that this carries over, and that's kind of the most Captain Obvious statement I've heard. If the Eagles play like this, they're not going to beat the Lions. Well, yeah, you're right. They're not going to play like that, though. They played very out of sync. I think a lot of it was the play calling, but maybe it was rust. I don't think that's what it was, but maybe that's what it was. It's just they got the win. You move on. It's a new week. I'm not as worried about it. And Jalen did. I said this earlier in the show. When it mattered most, I felt like Jalen really showed up. When the Green Bay Packers go into halftime, if I'm Matt LaFleur, what I'm preaching to my team is, you got 3 turnovers, you're playing like crap, and it's only a 10-0 game. Let's go out there, stop them, and get a scoring drive. And that's exactly what they did. They made it a 10-3 game. If the Eagles didn't respond there, maybe things could have ended differently, but they did respond. Jalen had his best drive. He goes 3 for 3, 61 yards, has that big pass to Devontae Smith. Goddard has that great touchdown catch where he just bulldozes his way into the end zone. They did it again when it was a 16-10 game. Jalen goes on a 13-play, 58-yard drive. They kick a field goal. They did what they needed to do to win the game. You can't worry if this is going to carry over. We've seen this team now 18 games. You've had Jalen Hurts for 14 of those. They're going to be fine. They're going to be
Let's
fine.
hear from Jalen. Let's hear. I want to hear. He was asked after the game about all this stuff. Let's give you some Jalen highlights. And first of all, he explains what he thought the offensive lulls were about.
It was execution. It was rhythm. We got to find our rhythm early in the game. And, I think first and foremost, our defense played their tails off, created turnovers. And I think when you have those opportunities, you got to take advantage of them. And that starts with me.
There you go. Starts with me. That's a typical Jalen quote. Execution.
Yeah, he didn't drop not many parables, though.
No parables. But then he talked about, because a lot of people, he was rusty. He didn't play. So let's go to Jalen with the question involved here.
Do you think that lack of rhythm or struggling at that point was due to, just not playing for 3 weeks?
No.
What do you attribute it to?
I have to watch the film.
See, that's my boy.
That's a good answer.
Right there.
That's a good answer.
No, I have to watch the film.
But when you do watch the game over again, I think it was a lot less about Jalen Hurts being rusty, a lot less about Jalen Hurts making bad decisions, and more about the game plan. Go back and watch some of these route designs. It was a very interesting approach to this game. They didn't have those quick hitter passes. It was a lot of slow developing routes. People were not open. It wasn't like Jalen Hurts was making these terrible throws. They were not open down the field, and I thought Jalen did what we wanted him to do. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't force anything, didn't have any turnover-worthy plays. If he did hold the ball too long at times, he protected it. He only took 2 sacks. It wasn't like he got sacked 7 times. This was the recipe to win this football game, what you got from Jalen Hurts. They need to be better as an entire offensive unit, coaching staff included, going forward. But a win's a win in the playoffs. You move on, you enjoy it.
There's no question in my mind that people believe that he's the guy that can hold them back as they go further. I don't believe it. So let's finish this sentence, Bill. Jalen Hurts was blank.
Good enough.
Not bad.
Yeah, you like that?
I like it. Jalen Hurts was adequate, would be my word.
Yeah, same thing.
Fan base is saying, some people are concerned that this game was a sign he won't be able to win the big one. And you need to explain that to me. Really, you need to explain it to me. You're telling me then that he is not good enough to win the big one. In other words, the Eagles will not be able to put up points enough on a team to win a bigger game than this. And I go, you tell me how the other team puts up points against the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, look, if Saquon Barkley doesn't slide there at the end of the game, this is a 29-10 win. And if Jake Elliott doesn't miss an extra point, you're talking about a 30-10 victory. And even with Saquon sliding, they won by 12 points. This game never felt like you were at risk of losing it. And I also don't know what team has this fan base who's concerned been watching for the last 14 games. This is who they are. They're a team that's going to lean on their rushing attack, they're going to lean on their offensive line, and they're going to really lean on their defense to make stops. Yes, you wanted to see more in the passing game yesterday. I get it, but it's not a time to overreact to a team that's now 15-3 on the season that's going to be favorites next week, no matter who they play, whether it's the Rams or the Vikings. They're going to be favorites.
It might be a small minority of people who tweet or put it on social media, their exasperation with Jalen Hurts because he doesn't dazzle you right away. So maybe it's not a concern at all. Maybe the majority of Eagle fans say, yeah, we're fine. 610-632-0975. We go back to the text board because Uncle Frank has chimed in. And we got Steele from Ocean City. He's going to be joining us on the telephone lines. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles move on. I'm Ray Dunn. This is your Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles beat the Packers 22-10 on Sunday, moving on to the divisional round. Defensively, the Birds were fantastic, generating 4 takeaways, including interceptions from Zach Wall and Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell. Offensively, it was a struggle for much of the middle portion of the game, and especially through the air. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game about cleaning things up.
We got to correct this tape. We have things that we have to get better from this tape. We're coming back to work. We made errors as coaches, and we made errors as players, and we're going to go back and get those fixed.
The Eagles will host the winner of the Vikings and Rams game tonight, next Sunday at 3 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field down at the Sports Complex. And plenty of news over the last 24 hours about that Sports Complex. Today, the release that came out officially that the 76ers and Flyers in a 50-50 joint venture will be building a new arena down there in South Philadelphia, expected to be open up by 2031. In addition to that, Comcast is expected to take minority stake in the 76ers and help bid for a WNBA team. Last night, the Sixers fell 104-99 in Orlando to the Magic, and the Flyers turned action tonight against the Panthers at 7. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The fully electric EQS sedan from Mercedes-Benz is innovation on a magnificent scale. Available with the epic 56-inch touch-sensitive hyperscreen. Visit MBUSA.com/EQS. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
125, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Anyway, congratulations to our old pal, Deshaun Jackson. Got a head coaching job.
Yeah. Never saw that one come.
Where was that? Where did he get the job?
Was it Delaware State?
Delaware State.
Delaware State. Oh, he's back in the area?
Yeah, there's.
Man, I didn't see him as a head coach type of guy.
I'm not sure many did.
Well, it kind of came out of nowhere, right?
A little bit, but hey, it's good for him. Good for Delaware State that we're talking about him.
Yes. All right, so have you smoothed out your voice? You want to go for it?
Well, I think I have to. People were so mad that we didn't do it last week, so I can't jinx the Philadelphia Eagles.
I know, but you've been under the weather. The voice is not there. You got a lot of stuff on your mind with the pending birth here. So I just want to make sure you're 100%. Like I would never ask Elvis to take the stage if he wasn't feeling it.
I'm going to give it my best shot because I'm a team player. Hold on, let me read my book first.
Yeah,
I want to get my motivation.
Get the book out. Get a little motivation. Ray's favorite book. He's waiting for it in the mail.
My life will be changed forever.
Ray can't
Hold
wait.
on, before we say
Ray can't wait. We're going to see a picture of Ray right before the broadcast.
Yeah, and before
when
we
he's
say
doing
you kidding me?
When
the
did
breaks here.
When did you order the book, Ray? Like right
Yesterday.
away?
Yeah.
Like you as like a joke, or you were so intrigued you wanted to order it?
I mean, both. I thought it'd be good for us content-wise, and also like I'm intrigued as to what's in there. What possibly is he grabbing mid-game that's in that book?
Just a tax deduction?
Oh, for
Type
sure.
of thing?
Yeah, don't worry.
Would they bang you for that on Amazon? Did you get it new or did you get a used one?
I got it, $25.
Wow.
That's a lot, Ray.
Pretty expensive. You could
Well,
get
that includes delivery. I don't have Prime.
Could you get a used one for cheaper? I'm sure you could grab a used copy.
I didn't. I just went, got the new copy.
You see, a used copy may have been in the toilet.
I don't
like the Seinfeld episode. Or book may have been flagged.
I'm not trusting someone's used book.
Okay, all right.
I don't trust
I think that's fair. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to kick this off. All right, Ray.
Are you ready, Ray?
Mr. Music Man.
Here we go, baby. Sirianni love. Voice or no voice, we're keeping the tradition going. Sirianni knows how to coach.
Oh, man.
Sirianni knows how to coach in the city of brotherly love. Keeps on winning. Keeps on winning. Here comes Ricky Bo. He wants in. Come on, Ricky Bo.
That's awful. That's all he chimed in. That's awful.
Look, I'm doing my best,
come on,
man.
You got to give him some
I'm doing my
slack
best.
here, Ricky. He's trying to do this wounded.
I'm trying to do it wounded because the people wanted it. I actually said it to my wife. I said, man, I wish we never started this damn thing because now I got to keep it going.
You do. People are asking for it.
Stop it. Don't even start. Oh, I wish we didn't even start this thing. You love it. It gives an honor to your favorite man in the world, and people come up to you talking about Sirianni love. You love it.
People were asking for it at Xfinity Live for the pregame show. But really, I can't wait until the Eagles either win the Super Bowl or get there, and then we can do a whole show just giving Nick Sirianni his flowers. And everyone's going to have to admit that they were wrong about Nick Sirianni. The fact that there's still people who haven't come around, like what else does the guy need to do? He came into this season where everybody was calling for his head. At least half the fan base wanted him fired. Then you go into the bye week at 2-2. They come out. You had all the drama that happened with the Cleveland Browns game and him bringing his kids on the sidelines, or excuse me, to the press conference, him jawing at fans on the sideline. And all the team did was keep winning, keep getting closer, keep getting closer. Then they're battling injuries to Hurts. No problem. And then Reuben Frank did his 10 observations after the game last night. He cited to the fact that this week, Nick Sirianni made the decision that they were going to go full pads outside at Lincoln Financial Field, which looks like it was the right decision considering the way the defense just played. The guy presses all the right buttons, man.
I'm not sure who's more slurpy right now, Sirianni, you or Reuben Frank, but Bill's the only guy, right, who can really issue a compliment and it becomes somewhat sickening.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Really, I'm trying to feel good about when he talks about this, and all I feel is a sour stomach.
Yeah, no, it's the only thing that's holding me back on Sirianni right now.
Yeah, you know why?
Is Bill.
Yeah, because the two of you don't want to have to admit that Bill was right.
No, I'm cool with
that.
you.
It was the right decision bringing this guy back.
I'm cool with being wrong. It is about you being right. It's listening to you victory lap that actually pains me.
Your victory laps are disgraceful, frankly.
I want to throw up.
You want to throw
I feel
up.
sick.
I just got a text from my wife.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my God.
Ready to go?
She just
have to get home?
No, she said, oh, my God, don't complain about your voice tonight. Because I guess she was listening in the car. She's on her way to the doctor right now, so we're going to get an update. It's looking more and more likely that I will not be here at the end of the week. It's looking like the baby's coming Wednesday night or Thursday, unless something happens before
Well,
that.
everybody wishes you well, wishes your wife well for a safe delivery and enjoyment that is beyond belief.
Well, no, I appreciate that, man. We're excited. We are excited, but it's it's just you're in the home stretch now, so you're getting anxious.
I can imagine your anxiety.
We're getting anxious.
Yeah.
You know, my wife's she's 40 weeks pregnant tomorrow. She posted on Instagram today. You know, she worked out today. She has not stopped working out all 40 weeks. It's impressive, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I my brother's the obstetrician gynecologist. I'm sure he would. I don't know what his take would be on that. We don't really discuss matters of childbirth, but in any event, let's go to text board because Uncle Frank has a take on this game. Go ahead, Uncle Frank.
Yeah, Uncle Frank said, "Thank God for Saquon and Fangio's defense because our quarterback, who's number one, played like he dropped to number two. I do chalk that up to some rest, like timing, decision making. He'll be better next week."
Very graphic.
Very graphic.
He didn't
Uncle
play
Frank.
like he took that. He played passable. That's fine. To win a game when your quarterback plays passable and doesn't prevent you from winning the game, when you accentuate the other strengths of your team, that's a good thing.
But once again, I'm not sure how much of this is on Jalen Hurts. Like, I know people, it's easy to blame the quarterback. It's easy.
Listen, he missed some throws. I mean, let's face it. He did miss some throws. I mean, Goddard bailed him out twice on throws.
Yeah,
he was not exactly sharp, except the 28-yard pass is the best passing throw all game. Now, the one to Jahan Dotson was an easy throw because that's a scramble play, and he's got the ball for 7 seconds.
But look, we talked about this a little bit after the Penn State loss when I said to you that although it was Drew Aller who had a bad game, isn't it the coach's job to help get somebody into a rhythm? Now, a little bit different. It looked like the moment was too big for Drew Aller.
Yeah, that was Drew Aller.
But, yeah, it looked like it was too big.
I don't blame anybody else. I don't even blame Franklin.
Yeah. But in this particular instance, Jalen Hurts hadn't played a game in 4 weeks. So a lot of people were concerned that he was not going to be sharp, that he was going to be rusty, whatever. I don't think that Kellen Moore did him any favors with how they called the game yesterday. They did not make – there was no, where was the slant to A.J.? I mean, where were the nice, easy, quick passes to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith? Everything was down the field. Everything was these long, developing routes. And if you go back and watch it, there were not a lot of open receivers downfield. I thought Jalen Hurts didn't play great, but I also don't think he was the reason that the passing offense looked the way it did. I felt a lot of it had to do with Kellen Moore's designs, but that doesn't mean it's going to carry over to next week. Things are going to be fine. I'm not worried that this team's not going to be able to throw the football against the Vikings or the Rams because they couldn't do it
I
against the
totally
Packers.
agree with you. Steele in Ocean City. What's up, Steele?
Good afternoon, my man.
Good afternoon.
Listen, who in this God's green earth reads a book on the sidelines?
Well, it's a different day and age. Jonathan Moxon did it, and he came off the
I
bench.
don't know who-
Come on, you know who Mox is from Varsity Blues?
No, my friend.
All
I'm
right.
67. Unfortunately, the next book will be of Mice and Men. Now, I know Steinbeck.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting a point across.
Your point is that A.G. Brown shouldn't be reading on the sidelines.
Bush.
I get it.
It's an attention getter.
It is.
And this guy, I get it. All the wideouts, Irvin, these guys are divas and things like that. But there are certain guys like Justin Jefferson and C.D. Lamb and I'm running out of these next guys.
Chase.
He might be a creep, this guy. I mean, I know
he's not a creep.
Who, AJ?
Yeah, come on,
Yeah,
Scale.
yeah,
Let's put this in perspective. You're an old school guy, and it's odd to you to see a guy on the sideline reading a book. It's not that odd to me. Other than that, at the time of the game where he's reading that book, it's late in the game. I think the issue is already decided. So in that view, I think he's trying to send a message to somebody.
It's Bush. Breakout, gone with the wind, for God's sakes. It's Bush.
Yeah, I don't think it's Bush. It's just odd.
Yeah, I keep going back to when we say he was reading a book. He was not reading a freaking story on the sidelines.
Yellow highlighted passages.
Yes, he's reading passages.
Like we all did when we went to law school. There was a line that we had to remember, and we underlined it. I get it.
But look, if people wear a bracelet, it says WWJD. What would Jesus do? Nobody has a problem if they're looking at their bracelet. He's looking at an inspirational quote that helps him get mentally prepared.
My point is, if they're losing the game, he needs some inspiration to get back on the field to do something great. That's fine. At that point of the game issue has already been decided. It's kind of strange. Now, it's not strange for him to go to that book to get any kind of help he can get mentally. That's not the strange part about it. The strange part about it is, at the time of the game, it was pretty weird that you saw that. And that's all I'm saying. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Birds Insider recaps Phillies win over Green.
Mike Missanelli Show 97.5, The Fanatic. Football Monday, brought to you by Pierce Phelps, Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit nopaybryant.com. You know, and all this excitement about the Eagles and the arena announcement, I forgot to mention, the Flyers got revenge on Cutter Gauthier. How about 6-0, big boy? They tried to rough him up, and the fans booed every time he had the puck.
Every time he had it. There was even some not suitable for work chants as well. The bleep you, Cutter. But, they answered, man.
And who challenged him to a fight? Said, I'll fight you, big boy.
Konechny.
The Connects.
Yeah, he seems
never
like
happened. But.
He seems like he's a punk, that kid.
Who, Konechny?
No. Gotcha.
Konechny's kind of a punk, too.
Well, Konechny's the type of guy where he's on your team, you love him. He's on the other team, you hate him. He gets under your skin.
Yeah, exactly.
But
he was like, a player way back in the day who I loved.
Matthew Barnaby.
No, he didn't have any talent.
He reminds me of him.
No, Barnaby had no talent. Ken Lintzman.
I remember him, but
they called him the Rat.
The Rat. I don't remember him well, but I like Konechny, man. TK, as they call him.
Anyway, Flyers 6, Ducks 0. Man, how about that?
Yeah, there was no way they were losing that game. No way. That building was electric for that.
It was electric.
Electric.
Okay. All right, we have some text. We have, since you're going to be out, we're going to have somebody sit in. And Ray, who is the text board calling for?
Yeah, JB in Pottstown. I bet Gronkowski could sing a better version of Sirianni Love. You guys should call up Gronkowski to fill in while Bill is out on paternity.
Gronkowski would be slightly more intellectual, but I don't know if it will work for 4 hours.
I don't think you and Gronkowski get through one sentence. I think Gronkowski opens up his mouth, and I think you're like, I'm out. Gronkowski starts to talk, and you'd be like, no, I'm good. Thanks, though. Appreciate this. This has been fun.
Oh, man, I could make a good show of Gronk. I'd play into his stupidity.
You could play into his stupidity, but I think in your head, at 10:01, the show in your mind is, we're in trouble.
All right, we have some more text on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, we
I had a text on Sirianni Love. I got the reviews are in. But.
Yeah, we got a text on that as well. Unnamed text here. Hurts has never won the big game. People think he won a national championship. He was on the team, but he didn't play. He also never won a high school championship.
So what? Like if you go through the people that have won Super Bowls, you're probably going to find that they didn't win a national college championship. Right, or a high school championship that somehow they managed to achieve once they got into the NFL. Come on now.
Frank and Philly, Mike, when it comes to Hurts, his contract is paid to be an elite quarterback, not just be a system quarterback and make enough plays to get by. That's not what his contract pays him to do.
I get it, and maybe in the future he will get to that status of being an elite quarterback because they do pay him to be that. But for right now, you got to take this a day at a time. And right now, a day at a time is pretty good for the Philadelphia Eagles, even though he's not throwing for 325 yards every game.
Another Frank here, Frank from Mount Laurel. Okay, Jalen was rusty from sitting out. What was he the other 14 out of 16 weeks of the season? Can't blame it on rust.
His numbers for 14 of 16 weeks were decent. Like people might make it seem like he was terrible. Look at his numbers.
Well, we were so focused on this, and maybe I'm part of the blame here because a few weeks ago I was focused on the lack of yardage in the passing game, and we were talking about how could that be a problem down the stretch. Then the Steelers game happens. They showed that they were capable of doing it, but everyone that's looking back at the season, they were 14-3. And with Jalen Hurts, what was their record? What was the record with Jalen? 13-2?
Yeah. I mean,
because you can't, the Commanders game, he didn't play.
13-2, yeah.
So they're 13-2 with Jalen Hurts. So if you want to look back, right? Yeah, 13-2.
No,
12-2.
12-2. Wow, yeah, see, they only won 12 games.
Man, they only went 12-2 with Jalen Hurts. What are we looking at? People who are looking back saying, "Oh, he's been a problem all year." They're 12-2 with him as the starting quarterback this year. Now 13-2 if you include the Green Bay game with him as the starting quarterback.
Listen, I look at how this team plays defense, and I go, come on now. You know, like, whatever you're feeling that is holding back, that you think is holding back the Eagles from winning, you're just not taking into consideration what they do to the other team. All right, Richard in Marsville, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Richard.
Good afternoon, Michael,
Hello,
Bill, and Ray.
How are you?
How are you guys?
Good.
Happy Monday.
You too.
You know, Mike, again, I feel like it's kind of weird. I believe that this is going to sound maybe strange, but I think retroactively the Eagles are shifting and shaping the NFL. And you might be like, what? They're managing the clock. They're dictating how they want the game to go. I know that there's variables, and I'm not saying it always works, plug and play, but it appears that there's no worry, there's calm, and they're learning. I believe that they're going to excel. I believe that they're going to play better next week. And I also feel the same way about going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. I know I'm jumping ahead. I know. I don't think that any coach can match what we have at all. It's the cohesiveness that I've seen, even when things aren't going great, is way above. Also, the time. Everyone has conjecture on what they want to see to compare them to what they see in the league doing. But look at all the time that Jalen had in the pocket. That's because our offensive line
see, when you say shift shape in the NFL, I don't think it's that they're going that far. They're changing the way the NFL can be successful. You have to have the perfect storm. You have to have a great offensive line. You have to have that kind of running back to do that. And they fortunately have it. I don't know that influences that the game's going to be changed because they've shown you a way. This just happens to be what they are. They excel at that part of it, so you might as well take advantage of it.
Mike, did you just for a second? Did you was there a moment when they didn't do this? When they had a third and one, and they thought they were going for the push, and he stepped back and they took that shot.
Yeah.
Well, I think that this is what we're kind of dictating to the NFL. Hey, maybe I think this is what Belichick did. I think Belichick kind of introduced these things, and the league caught on. And the league was like, oh, wait.
Well, I think that was a pretty safe play to run there because you could still push it on fourth down. So that was the time if you were going to do that. That was the time to do it.
Which one?
Where they faked the tush push and they threw it on third down.
No, it was smart. It was third and inches.
Yeah.
There was another play call that I saw people losing their mind on Twitter, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It was when the game was 16-10. Eagles get the ball down into Green Bay territory, and there was a third and long. And they ran the read option.
There were two things that bothered me in the game. One was the 3rd and 12, and the other was the 3rd and 19. They surrendered both those downs with runs.
They did, but
and I didn't like it.
But in the fourth quarter of the game, when it was a 16-10 game, I thought it was the right call. Why force the ball into the end zone and risk a turnover when you knew, with the way your defense was playing, with the way the Packers' offense looked, that kicking a field goal there and making it a 9-point game was in essence making it a 30-point game.
I have a problem with that. I don't think many people had a problem with that. I think some people had a problem with surrendering on 3rd and 12 and 3rd and 19. And people go, well, that's the right play. What are you going to – well, so you throw a pass for you throw a 10-yard pass at 3rd and 19. It still gives your punting team an advantage. Like why would you just give it up on 3rd and 19? That's what I understand. You could get a yak on a completion to get you the first down. Like why would you not try that?
Yeah, I was
bothered by that.
I was fine with them just running the ball. There were some play calls I didn't like.
On 3rd and 12, you were fine with just surrendering?
Yeah, because you won. I forget. Let's see where it was.
3rd and 12 means if you surrender, you're not trusting your quarterback to make a play. Maybe 3rd and 19, you could have that feeling. 3rd and 12, your quarterback can make a play, get a first down.
All right, it was a 3rd and 13.
3rd and 13.
At the Green Bay 17. So you got to look at the down and distance and the location of the field.
I don't know if that's the down because that's easy to kick a field goal. I think they surrendered on a 3rd and 12 where they weren't in field goal.
Yeah, that was earlier in the game.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's
that one was
I'm
different.
talking about.
Yeah, this is the one where I saw people losing their mind on Twitter about because they ran that weird option where Jalen could have pitched it to Saquon, and then he kept it on this one.
Yeah, listen, trust your quarterback to make a throw. To me, I look at that and I go, well, they weren't sure that they didn't have enough confidence in him there to make a throw for a first down, and that disturbed me a little bit. Now, maybe that was the prudent thing to do. Maybe they saw he wasn't sharp, that he was rusty, and they didn't want to risk it. But to me, at 3rd and 12, trust your quarterback to get a damn first down. There are a lot of things that can happen there to get you a first down. You throw it for 8, he wiggles out of a tackle and gets a first down.
Yeah, the early one I'm with you on. I didn't understand some of it. But, again, I said this earlier, players have bad games. I think coaches have bad games. I thought this was a bad game by Kellen Moore. Now, I don't want to make excuses for him.
Oh, wait. But it was a good game for the head coach? It was a bad game for just Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's influenced.
The reason I don't think it's a bad game.
Sang Sirianni love.
Well, the reason why I don't think it was a bad game for the head coach, because they won, and the team's ready to play. And I know Vic Fangio's calling the defense and Kellen Moore's calling the offense, but there is a head coach there that makes sure this team is ready to play, and they were ready to play. I thought that was the right decision by Nick Sirianni this week. They didn't practice indoors. They went over to the link. They put on full pads. They practiced outside. None of the elements were too big for this team. The playoffs weren't too big for this team. I just thought the game plan offensively left a lot to be desired. But Kellen Moore, and I said I wasn't going to make an excuse for him, but didn't he interview this week for head coaching job? Did he actually interview with the Saints? Do we know? Did he interview with any of these teams?
That's not an excuse in my book.
I just hate it, man. I just hate that these guys are allowed to interview.
In the game plan now. Don't worry about New Orleans. All right, time for closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
All right, my closing argument is it's really simple. Yesterday, to me, was a game that they could not lose. They were absolutely in total command of that game because of their defense, and their passing game wasn't that dazzling. That's okay. Sometimes your passing game it doesn't have to be dazzling. So what I'm saying is that Green Bay was overmatched by the Eagles. And if you want to hold on to the fact that Jalen Hurts wasn't spectacular, that's fine. I go, good first game win with a few concerns. But the few concerns are outweighed by what the Eagles are right now. And if you're going to play a better team at home and you have that kind of defense, then I dare you to outscore the Eagles. And when the Eagles need to score, I think they're plenty capable of moving the football with this quarterback. I got no problem. Eagles are fine, and Jalen Hurts is fine.
We see eye to eye on this one today, Mike. They won the game. It's the playoffs. You take a win in the playoffs. It doesn't matter how you get it. Doesn't matter if they won 3-0. Doesn't matter if they won 300-0. They won the game. They move on. And now we get to watch tonight Vikings-Rams for who the divisional round opponent is. Either team, Eagles will be favored.
And thanks to A.J. Brown for on sideline reading of The Adventures of Shima the Sheba. It means a lot to me. Hopefully we get a lot of sales. Everybody have a great rest of the night. Bill, hang in there. I hope I see you tomorrow.
I'll be here.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.